Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is story about what if Naruto finds about his mother at age 5 and wishes to reform Whirlpool part 1. Before I start, please do support. For more amazing content and comments for part 2, do consider to subscribe my channel and share my video to your friends and check out the description as well. Let's start the video. Well, I'll be damned, quite the interesting heritage you have there, Naruto-kun. These were the thoughts of one Yakushi Kabuto as he looked between a blood test and a 5-year-old blonde kid. He didn't know what was more interesting, the blood test or the kid. He knew that the kid was a genius. Even with only 5 years he could already manipulate chakra and was able to even do Kabuto's technique chakra no Mezu, chakra scalpel. Of course, all of this in secret, as well as the present blood test requested by Naruto himself. Well, Naruto, it seems like I can tell who your mother is, but the information on your father, I am afraid it's classified. Uzumaki Naruto, 5 years old and the most hated person in the village. A feeling that was quite mutual, but that's for another time. Naruto met Kabuto when he was 4. He was the only medic that would assist him when he went alone to the hospital. He was the one to teach him what chakra was, and was thanks to him that he had so much control. He even went as far as to teach him a technique, something that will come to bite him in the ass in the future. He was also the only person that Naruto talked without fear of anyone knowing about his real capacity as a genius. He trusted Kabuto a little because he knew that although Kabuto wants to manipulate him, he at least knew what to expect, and for the moment it wasn't important. Okay then, Kabuto-san, can you tell me who she was, or was she like this village that despised me? I wouldn't be surprised if she hated me too, Naruto answered indifferently. Well, Naruto-kun, according to this, she died in childbirth, and she was from the former Whirlpool country. Her name was Uzumaki Kushina. The moment that he said that, Kabuto knew that something happened to Naruto. The kid's eyes told him that he was planning something. So Naruto-kun, what are you going to do now? Naruto looked at him with a serious face and answered, well, for now, thank you for your time and for telling me about my mother, and later I'll go to the Hokage. I am sure he knew, and it's time for him to tell me about my parents. Very well, Naruto, I hope this helped you. With that, Naruto walked out of the hospital straight to the Hokage tower, ignoring all the hateful glares while he thought of how to say it to the Hokage. In the end, he just went with the weasel pose, as he called it, learned from imitating one of his Umbu escorts who protected him from time to time. Hello, Naruto-kun, please sit and tell me what you need, said the Sandaime Hokage, or the old man as Naruto used to call him. The old Kage thought sadly. You told me that you didn't know my parents yet. I just find out who my mother was. That made all color to drain from Sarutobi's face. How did you found about it? He questioned, nervous and a little angry. I found a blood test with my name on it in the hospital archives. It says that my mother was Uzumaki Kushina and that she was from a clan from Whirlpool country. Care to explain why did you hide it from me? After all, she was just a chunin. The Hokage, while already thinking of what he was going to do to the hospital security, simply sighed in defeat and answered, well, you see, Naruto-kun, your father had a lot of enemies, and people from Whirlpool or survivors are very rare, so I, though that they may associate you with both and attempt to kill you, your father wanted for you to at least make chunin before knowing about him. I see. So did she left me something to know about her, or did she hated me as the people in the village do? This made the Hokage wince internally, but he was quick to answer. No, Naruto, they actually loved you a lot, and yes, she did left you something. Wait a second, I'll go for it. 15 minutes later, Sarutobi appeared with a blue scroll with an orange swirl the size of Naruto. This, Naruto, is, as you can see, it's a sealing scroll. To be more exact, a family scroll that your mother wanted you to have. She made it herself because her clan scroll was destroyed alongside the village. It will be better that you seal it in your arm, seeing how you have become quite an accomplished shinobi despite being so young and not even be in the academy. It was true, a month ago, after Kabuto finished teaching him the chakra no Mezu, Naruto was on his way to his favorite place, Ichiraka, for ramen, when he saw a few villagers trying to vandalize Ichiraka and one was about to hit Ayam-chan. Naruto only remembered that he lost it. Activating his chakra scalpels, this time they were red, he charged at the civilian that hit Ayam and sliced his hand with his right, and the second scalpel was a direct to the guy crotch. Well, he didn't know what they saw on his eyes and he didn't care, but they were scared shitless. Since then, no villager dared to even insult Ichiraka or his daughter. But Naruto said that he wouldn't come back because he was bad for their business even at their insistence. Since then he have been learning all he could about sealing, that was at the academy library for security, sneaking at night, as well as learning the academy jutsus. The chakra control of tree climbing and water walking learned from Kabuto, as well as learning the scalpels, had made his chakra control perfect since he started to train it early, so he was able to do even that stupid bunshin. According to your father, continued the Hokage, she left a letter sealed in it for you. With that information, Naruto simply took the scroll and sealed it on his arm. He only used this seal for his most valued things, like all the copies of the book on sealing that he had already read. Contrary to popular belief, sealing is about understanding and chakra flow. In other words, it's like learning an idiom but with algorithms and chakra control. Thank you for all, Hokage-sama, responded Naruto a bit coldly. It was nothing, Naruto-kun, responded the Hokage a bit saddened. With that, Naruto went directly to his home, and after activating the few security seals that he had placed around his apartment, he opened the scroll and read the letter. Dear Naruto-chan, his sweat dropped. If you are reading this, then that means that I died as well as you, father. Since he heard the news of the Kyuubi, he has been like crazy trying to find a way to stop him. Yes, in case that you don't know, your father is no other than Namikaze Minato Sandaime Hokage. This may be shocking, but it's true. Either way, this scroll has all the techniques that I know from my, or better said, our clan. As you can see, they are few, actually only 3 2A ranked and 1B ranked, the 3 water type because that was our clan's speciality. Those were the only 3 that I was able to learn from our original family scroll. I made this scroll with the hope that you have something from our family. Sealed in this scroll is a necklace passed in the Uzumaki clan that's said to help with our water affinity, as well the Kage Bunshin technique that I created and a chakra paper. That will tell you your chakra affinity since Minato seems to have a strong wind affinity. The necklace is like the one that Tsunade wears, according to legend. It can be used to control bijus. But for some reason your father didn't take this into account. I hope that you have a good life and find someone that you love and be loved in return. Your mother that loves you, Uzumaki Kushina. He couldn't believe it. His father, his own father, sealed a fucking demon on his son. What kind of imbecile does that? Couldn't he have used just some kind of reverse summoning or something? Now he only hates him more, and why didn't he use the necklace? He already knew of the Kyuubi. He met him the day of the fight at Ichiraku Ramen. Flashback. Just what he needed. In front of him was the famous Kyuubi, with his attention completely centered on him? What the fuck he did in another life to deserve this? I want to kill you. Well fuck. Talking about being direct and honest. It's not my fault that you are here, you know, he answered with a deadpan expression. The seal is slowly stealing my chakra, monkey. Well, it wasn't my idea, besides I hate the guy who put you here as much as you. I see you sure are an interesting kid. Tell you what, if you impress me I'll grant you the honor of striking a deal with me. Now leave, you are boring and irritating. End flashback. Since then Naruto have been studying seals and bijou in an effort to get rid of the Kyuubi, and maybe gaining something in the process. But getting back at things at hand, he just found a purpose in life. He will become strong, and when he deems himself ready he will leave this hateful village and create his own, the new Whirlpool. His mother would be proud and his idiotic father can turn on his grave. It had been 4 years since that day. He had since changed quite a bit. He had no doubt that he could defeat any chunin, and even some weak jounin. That day he found that he had his parents' affinities, and since then he had discovered his talent for jutsu creation. He knew that one of the most important aspects, if not the most, was physical condition, so that day he went to the library for taijutsu scroll and the exercises for the chakra affinity. What he didn't expect was one Mado guy to find him practicing the basic of taijutsu. It was with his help that he created his own style that he intended to keep for his future family, the Furamazu Fujin, flow of wind and water god. He had created quite a bit of jutsus as well as evolving others, giving as a result his Futon chakra no Mezu, wind chakra scalpel. The Sandame had even given him a technique as a present and hasn't apologize. Raitun Hekareki Nami, Thunder Wave. Of course, if he knew that Naruto had entered his office when it was closed, bypassing all of his security seals and getting his father heritage. Not that he cared. He has sealed all the techniques of his father in his arm and has forgotten about them. He just did that as a way to say fucks you to this village. But it was not any of this. What had him happy it was that he completed his 2 projects. The most important being the reason that he was talking to Kyuubi now. So what do you want, brat? He could feel the smugness from the damn brat. I came to tell you that I found a way to free you without killing myself and to strike a deal with you now that catches the attention of the demon lord. How free me and I may let you live, said with a blast of killer intent. Be silent, demon, and be grateful that I won't be destroying your existence. Besides, what about that deal you promised? Naruto responded, suppressing his instinct to piss himself with the killer intent. Blasted monkey, what do you want? Akekei Genkai, KG, my life and your word as demon lord and spirit of nature that you will not take any opportunity to kill me during the process, he said with a bit more confidence. He knew that as the personification of nature destruction he was bound by his word. There was a reason that he studied the bijus. Very well, but first tell me how we will be doing this. Well, since part of your personality and power is part of the very own main seal, we will use a technique that with that power stop all the other seals' functions for a determinate amount of time and create a portal to whatever dimension you are from. Of course it will be painful for me, but with the kg that I want I'll be recovered soon enough and not crippled. Of course you will give me the Kekei Genkai now and tomorrow we will do it. But you won't be able to be summoned in this plane again as in part of your promise. His answer was silence and then, Mwahahaha, genius, you kid are definitely a seal master. Besides, I don't care for this place anymore. Of course that imbecile that called himself my father left me all his seal knowledge, and how else I would fool the so-called Kami no Shinobi. Very well, monkey, what do you want as a Kekei Genkai? And it better not be that fucking Sharingan. I still beat myself for giving it to my first Jinchuriki, pathetic hairless monkey. The fool thought that they could control me. I want to be able to heal like you do, but faster, almost instantaneous, and to be immune to genjutsu. That's a wise choice, for a human at least. Very well, prepare yourself. Changing your DNA is very painful. I already sealed my room so no chakra or sound will be here. Fuck. 3 days later. He needed 3 days to recover, but now he definitely will survive the process. Weak monkey, I already make my bow, now free me. Sure, here we go. After exactly 666 hand seals that took an hour to make and a lot of concentration. Fuinjutsu Tunso Bakiatari, cursed escape. At first nothing happened, but then the seal sewers of the seal started to shake, and what could only be described as a black Kyuubi came out of the seal, giving a roar. The black fox transformed himself into a black hole. Well, kid, a pleasure doing business with you. Enjoy the pain, mwahaha. Naruto could only scream from the pain and think, fuck you blasted fox. In the real world the village was quite scared since the Kyuubi chakra could be felt in the entire village. Sarutobi, steeling himself and surrounded with A and B, went straight to the source. Naruto's apartment complex was nothing but ruins. When he arrived there, he found Naruto trying to get up. Signaling his jounins to no attack, he started walking closer to Naruto. Naruto-kun, how are you feeling? What happened? He asked, at the same time wary, thinking that maybe the fox had taken over. Slowly Naruto lifted his head and everyone could see his blue eyes. What happened, Hokage-sama, is that I made a deal with Kyuubi. This was met with instant outrage. Kill the demon, he's planning to kill us all. Silence, the Sandame screamed with a good dose of killer intent. Naruto-kun, what deal is that, and how do you know of the Kyuubi? Seeing no damage in telling about it, he just tells him about how he knows since he was 4 years in the deal and how he did it. Needless to say, everyone was between astonishment and happiness. The fucking villagers were now singing about the demon be no more. The last thing he saw before fall unconscious was the Sandame proud look, and the people happiness faces, and he could no help but think, fucking scum. It had been a week since the revelation from Naruto about Kyuubi been gone. There were few that didn't know about it. Naruto for his part had yet to smile to someone other than Ayame, her father, and curiously enough a girl named Anko who he just found amusing. His evil laugh could be heard through Konoha when said girl informed Tucci that she was going out with his daughter. Of course that was stopped when said girl threatened with her snakes. This takes us to his actual position, seated in the council chamber surrounded by old farts and a bunch of clan heads, who a week ago wanted him dead or probably as a weapon. Bastards. And now they are denying his right to leave this pitiful village just because of his Kekkei Genkai. Why did he have to open his big fucking mouth? Oh yeah, he wasn't thinking straight. Either way, he now has to keep acting the emotionless guy. He would be sure to thank that ANBU, which turned out to be Uchiha Itachi. For the last time, Uzumaki, we cannot have you out of the village. For starters, you are the youngest sealed genius since the Yondaime, and then there is your bloodline. Anyway, why do you need so much to leave the village? Like he was going to tell these old farts that he wanted a summoning contract that he had localized. The information came from an old man who was dying in the bed besides him in the hospital. The OWL contract. A lighting and wind-based contract. The old man, who was named Gen-Nu, not that Naruto cared, is just a man that wouldn't shut up, found it amusing that he was interested in that contract. Naruto was suspicious, but he wasn't about to back out from getting such a valuable thing. But he neither was going to tell this idiots. First, you can't do nothing since I am still not a shinobi, and second, the only who can do anything is the Hokage. The council is merely, if memory doesn't fail me, to give advice to the Hokage, not to rule. There, that should teach these idiots to mind their own business, he thought. Besides, that fossil of Sarutobi was feeling guilty after their last conversation, and he surely wasn't about to be denied this one. Flashback. Naruto-kun, is good to see you awake. It seems that your bloodline is quite powerful, since within minutes of losing your conscience you were already healed. You will have to stay here for another week to take off all those seals on your body, said the Sandame with that proud look on his face that Naruto hated, since he could already tell what the old Kage was thinking. Probably something about that stupid will of fire. God, how I hate that shit. Hi Hokage-sama, but don't worry about the seals, I am already taking care of it. Like hell he was going to let someone else touch him with a seal that wasn't him. That's another one. While some people still hated him, like that guy whose hand he sliced, a lot of people wanted to treat him like a fucking hero without taking into account that they used to hate him the most. Then there were those seals. He hated those fucking seals. There were at least 50 arrays of them. That's good to hear, Naruto-kun, but now, can you tell me how you knew so much about sealing? It wasn't a question, Naruto noted. Seeing no harm in tell just him, he answered. The letter from my mother explained who was my father, and I took his scrolls from your office. He thought that the old man was having a stroke. What, when, how? I didn't note it. I went for it at night, and after bypassing your chakra detection seals and your stasis seals, I just needed my blood and a bit of chakra. I see, Naruto, I know that you are angry with your father, but save it, he cut him sharply. Nothing that you say is going to change my opinion of him, only make it worse, and don't go announcing that I am his son because I won't recognize it, and neither will I take the Namake's name. Very well, Naruto-kun, but if you change of opinion you know where to find me. Here, he said, extending Naruto a package. This is the clothes that people from the Uzumaki clan used to wear with that he was out of the room. Naruto opened the package to find black pants and a black gi with 2 lotus flowers on the back. End flashback. Enough with the discussion, Naruto is right. He can go, seeing that they were going to interrupt, he said, but he will be accompanied by a trusted jounin. At this, Danzo jumped at the chance of recruiting Naruto. If you allowed me, I have the perfect jounin in mind, and I think that Uchiha Sasuke should go to that way they can learn from each other, something that it seems Hamura and Koharu approved of. That went to shit when Naruto answered. First, if I have to go with a babysitter it will be of my choosing, and second, I wouldn't teach that arrogant piece of shit of Uchiha. This was met with outrage from Danzo, Hamura and Koharu the most, who although disliked the Uchiha, they were not going to pass the chance to recruit one. Sarutobi, you are not going to let a mere 9-year-old kid to do whatever he wants, screamed Koharu. Why not? To me it seems like you three want to do the same with the Uchiha child. The Uchiha, he despised that brat with a passion. He had the pleasure of interact with him and a few others the moment he was out of the hospital. Flashback. Yu Uzumaki, a kid with a blue shirt, white pants and black eyes and hair, said I heard that you were the Kyuubi holder and you destroy it. And I don't believe it. You look like I could beat you, fight me. Yeah, you show him, Sasuke-kun, said a pink-haired and a blonde-haired girl besides him. Ah, so this is the last Uchiha, damned weasel. Why couldn't Itachi kill him too? And those fangirls, just what I needed, Naruto thought, a little irritated. Relax, Uchiha, said a kid with an animal look and a puppy on his head. Inuzuka, if he wasn't wrong, an especially stupid-looking one. From what my mother told me, he is the youngest sealed genius in our history. P.S. just because of little drawing, he said with disdain, I could beat him too. Kibaku-in Yoyu Sho shouldn't say things like that, said a blue-haired with white eyes timid girl that when looked at him blushed. Naruto didn't know why he was liked. It's no like he had even talked to her. Mostly because she always fainted. To answer the Uchiha Amo and the mud, Naruto simply gave them with two of his patented stares. Patented stare number 32, I don't give a shit what you say, and patented stare number 33, if I answer it would be with a kick to the balls. He had this too registered. And would I care about two weaklings' opinion, whose only ability is to say stupid things? What a disgrace for humanity, he ended, sighing, lolling sad. This seemed to piss off both kids, but before they could talk, Irika intervened. Hello, Naruto, you must be wondering what we are doing here, said his teacher for 2 years. Never mind that he didn't have anything to teach him and he used to hate him. He tried to be nice later, but Naruto merely ignored him. He didn't feel like talking anymore. Well, he started a bit nervous, Hokage-sama, and I thought that it would be a good idea if all the class come to see you, but it seems that you are good now. Thanks for the idea, but I am good now. If you don't mind, I have a few things to speak with the Hokage. Of course, take care. Wait, said a certain Uchiha, I want to fight you right here, right now. Naruto merely ignored him and started walking away. Hey, where do you think you are going, Baka? Sasuke-kun is speaking to you, the pink-haired walking forehead said. Sakura. He thought her name was. I could care less who he is. Even if he were Kami himself, I wouldn't be hearing him all the time walking. If you don't fight me willingly, I'll make you. With that, he attacked. He started running towards Naruto, ignoring Irika's orders, while doing hand seals. Before he could finish, he saw Naruto vanished, and the next he knew, he was unconscious from a kick to the temple. Sasuke-kun screamed the two banshees along with the rest of the Emo's fan club. How dare you to hurt? They have to shut up because of the look they were receiving. Patented look number 2. I am going to kill you without any remorse. One of the first he learned courtesy of the majority of the village. With that, he simply walked to the Hokage Tower to his meeting with Sarutobi and the council. End flashback. Next day. Now here he was waiting for one of his supposed babysitter. In the end, he was going with not only one jounin but with two and a chunin. The first to come was a beautiful black-haired woman with red eyes. Her name, she said, was Kurinai. The second was someone he already knew but didn't feel like seeing again, Mato Guy. YOSH. Naruto-kun, it's been a few years since I saw you. I hope that your youthful flames of youth burn brightly. It's nice to see you again, Guy-sensei. I hope you are well. I didn't know that you two already knew each other, said the red-eyed beauty. YOSH, I had the pleasure of helping Naruto-kun create his powerful taijutsu style. YOSH, said the guy with tears on his eyes, making Naruto sigh and the poor girl's sweat drop. That stopped the moment that Naruto opened his mouth. We're leaving. I won't stay here expecting someone that doesn't know the meaning of punctuality. That's very unyouthful, my genius student. Don't worry, we just have to wait another hour for my rival Kakashi. Meanwhile, let's do 500 push-ups and 50 laps around Konoha to keep our flames of youth bright. That was the reason for Naruto to expend time with Guy. He saw how the girl's face turned pasty white the moment Guy said his warm-up and found it amusing. Naruto just sighed and responded, We are leaving now, Guy-sensei. He is already 30 minutes late, and I don't plan to stay here a minute more. It seemed that the chunin girl already knew of Kakashi since she agreed with Naruto. Very well, Naruto-kun, but the Hokage is not going to like it, a more subdued Guy said, and the woman perked at this. It's okay, we will explain it to him when we come back. After a moment they agreed and they were gone in a moment. 1 hour and 30 minutes later. Sorry to be late, but you see I was said a silver-haired jounin, whose only visible part of the face was one eye. Where's everyone? His answer came from one of the guards of the gate. Kotetsu, I heard the kid said he was tired of waiting and they left. Did you heard where? Naruto didn't say where they were going, just that it was friendly territory. That's the reason Guy and him were going. Kotetsu shrugged and said that he didn't know, so he summoned Pakken and told him to follow Gaia's scent. He wasn't about to let the opportunity to speak with his sensei's son just like that. 2 days later with Naruto and the others. YOSH, tell me, my dear student, where are we going? You didn't tell anyone our destiny, only the Hokage, and he said that you would tell us. Kurinai also was interested. Until now Naruto has been a very quiet. Even when they thanked him for eliminating the Kyuubi, he merely nodded and bit cold at that. We are going to form a hidden heat haze. That surprised them, since it was a known fact that there only was a destroyed village with nothing of valor destroyed in the Third War. Why do you want to go there? There is nothing but destruction and contamination there, said Kurinai while Guy agreed, nodding like a madman. What I want there is for you to watch the gates while I take care of something that a dying man told me. He knew that he should have shut up that moment when Guy started shedding tears. YOSH, my dear student, is so youthful of you to grant a dying man his last wish, and with that he did something that would traumatize Kurinai and Naruto for the rest of their lives. He hugged Naruto in plain jump and a sun with ocean's waves appeared out of nowhere. Kurinai tried to dispel it but it had no effect. Naruto merely muttered under his breath, clearly annoyed. You didn't let me finish. It's not a dying wish. With that, guy stopped and looked at him with interest, the same with Kurenai. As you know, Hidden Heat Haze was known for their quantity of summoning contracts. It was true the 3 Sannin have won there in that village in a tournament. Well, the dying old man told me of another contract that he hided there and I want it. That certainly leaves them stunned. They didn't know about a former Haze villager in Konoha and to tell of the contract to a kid after all this time. He told me as a thanks for getting rid of the Kyuubi, since on his way to Konoha he destroyed the reconstructed village. He told them, ignoring their astonished faces. But why didn't you told the Hokage you didn't have to come all the way? You could be killed at this declaration. Even Guy seemed amused. Other nations and even certain organizations have decided to not believe of the Kyuubi being gone. She who knew that it was truth, she should know to not underestimate him. Kurenai-san, how could you be so unyouthful as to think that my lovable student would be weak after all of his accomplishments, and besides you should already know to not underestimate the power of the less used shinobi arts. She looked a bit ashamed and Naruto's appreciation of Guy rose despite calling him lovable. Either we are getting closer, there is the village, stay here so nobody interferes. They knew to who he was referring. A day after depart from Konoha they noted someone following them, and it took them 3 hours to lose them. Although hesitant, Kurenai let him go while Guy simply gave him his pose and that shiny thing with his teeth. With that, Naruto entered the village. It was depressing to say the least. All houses destroyed. Hell, he could even see gigantic paws prints on the street. He followed Jenna's instructions and instead of going to the barely standing Black Kage Tower he went directly in the direction of a forest. While he walked through them he noted that it would have been a beautiful place in the past. Damn fox. He noted that had it not been for his bloodline abilities he would have fallen for the powerful genjutsu surrounding the shrine in front of him. Deciding to be careful he made a Kage Bunshin, shadow clone, and sends it to the shrine. It was a good idea because as soon as the Bunshin stepped in the shrine he received a fucking thunder. Damn, and the memories of the clone weren't pretty, but at least now he knew how to get around it. Unsealing his brush from a scroll that he brought with his necessities he started drawing seals around the shrine with the help of 5 other Kage Bunshin. This will deactivate the other protection seals that he have seen around the place except the elemental seal. That one was directly connected to the summoning contract, so that leave him with just one option. Activating the seals he saw how it disabled the protection ones. With that done he started making hand seals and shouted, Ninpo Yuma no Jutsu, Ninja Art Ghost Technique. This technique was a real pain in the ass due to how chakra demanded, but it was worth it. He started developing it after learning the basic Doton Shinju Sunju. He could feel himself transforming and loosing his contingency, eliminating his presence for complete. With that he passed through the door and let the jutsu fall. After eating a chakra pill and bowing to finish that technique he looked his surrounding. There was nothing in the little shrine besides the drawing in the walls of what looked like owls and other birds and a big white scroll in the middle of the room. Taking the scroll he bolted running to the village so that the seal can't be activated again. He made it. He couldn't believe it, but he made it. With the same enthusiasm he opened the scroll and found something odd. There was only one name, Jinkirai Hitomi. This kunoichi was known for only teach female students, but she had the strength of any Kage. Proof of that was that she founded Heat Haze. Shrugging he wrote his name, sealed the scroll on his shoulder, and made the hand seals that Guy had teach him before entering the village, and called his jutsu, Kuchios no Jutsu, summoning technique. A puff of smoke told him that he had do it right. In front of him stood a white little owl with a blue crescent moon under her left yellow eye. Naruto supposed that it was a she since she was wearing some kind of short yellow dress. He was proved right when she started speaking. Ugh, who summoned me at this hour? I was sleeping? Said with a clearly feminine voice typical of a child. Hey, you are a guy. Naruto merely looked at her with a deadpan expression and started thinking. Since he hadn't used too much chakra in that summoning, does that mean that if he used a lot it will summon the boss? Deciding to test it out he ignored the little one and did the same jutsu this time with as much chakra as he could. That did the trick. A giant puff of smoke later an owl the size of the Hokage tower appeared. She was definitely female too since she was wearing the same dress, this one with a bit of armor. She was white too, but instead of a crescent moon under her eye, this one weary 2-tear streak under her ice blue eyes. Either way, Naruto thought that she looked extremely strong, and they would get along well. That went to shit the moment that she spoke. Female power? What? A male and a brat at that. What is the meaning of this insult? Speak male, or you will die a very painful death. Just great, Naruto thought with a lot of sarcasm. A feminist summon. Just my fucking luck. That damned old man, when I die I am definitely going to beat the shit out of him, promised himself Naruto. Of all the existing summons he just had to get the feminist one. Hikijo, or the chief summon, was still rambling about the superiority of the females and how better the world would be if women governed the world. It didn't get better when Naruto mentioned how few strong kunoichis were out there. As a result he was talking to the little one, while Hikijo rambled about strong kunoichis. Hello there, I am a boy, and you are the first human male that I meet. Nice to meet you, she said, waving one fluffy white wing, making her look exactly like her name described her. Naruto for his part merely looked at her with his bored look and with sarcasm clearly dripping from his mouth, answered. A pleasure, I am sure. Sing me a lullaby. I am sleepy. No. Come on. How you expect for me to do something for my summoner if you don't pay the price? Pretty please. Mabui, that's enough. You may bring a kunoichi so she can sign the contract, and you can go back to whatever hole you came from. Naruto definitely wasn't going to let this contract go that easy, either was he going to let it fall on Konoha's hand, so ignoring the insult. What about a deal? He asked, thinking quickly. Very well, but it better be worthy, or else by this time he already was sweating and ready to fight his way out, but he stayed firm. I plan to create a clan, and I would like for the owls to be my clan's contract, and wait, let me finish. I would like that you become my clan's female summons and have me as the only male summoner. Of course, as soon I am married and have a daughter, the contract will be passed to my family's females. That's okay for a male, I guess. It had been too many years since the Great All contract have seen the light, but to become our summoner you must pass my test. I accept, he said, happy. He definitely was going to pass this stupid test. I mean, what it could be. Probably to say that stupid female power phrase, he thought, snorting. He missed Hikijo's eyes narrowing. I was going to make you recognize the female power, but now you are going to hold against one of my attacks for a minute. Fuck, thought Naruto, making seals as fast as possibly. There goes my easy way. Fukuru Ikazuchi, all thunder, screamed Hikijo while opening her mouth and letting out a blast of lightning. Putting all his chakra in his technique, he screamed his jutsu. Uzumaki Jutsu Toku, Whirlpool Shield. The jutsu required all of his control on his water affinity. It was one of the Uzumaki techniques that his mother knew. Meanwhile, out of the gates of the village, Kakashi had just arrived to where Guy and Kurenai were waiting for Naruto. Yo, Osage, my rival Kakashi, it seems that your flames of youth didn't let you stay in the village for long, said Guy enthusiastically while Kakashi and Kurenai merely sighed. May I know why did you left with an incomplete team instead of expecting for me or at least ask for another jounin to accompany you? Whatever they were going to answer was interrupted by the presences they felt on the trees. 6 shadows dropped from said trees. 5 of them dressed in the typical Amambu suit, while the 6th figure reveled himself to be Rokushu Aoi, Konoha missing Nin, and the one who stealed the night aim as Raijin. Instantly the 3 Konoha shinobis jumped out of the way, effectively separating them. 2 of them went after Guy. 1, a female, if her long hair and curves was an indication, went for Kurenai, and the other 2 went for Kakashi. In that moment they knew who was following Naruto, Guy and Kurenai. I see from the looks on your faces that you 3 figure it out. Yes, we are here for the summoning contract at this, Kakashi and the other gasped. Kakashi because he didn't know that was why they were there, since Sarutobi didn't told him, just that Naruto wanted to come to this village. And Guy and Kurenai because they thought that only Naruto knew of the contract. You unyouthful scum, how did you know of this? I don't know, but I will defeat you all. There's no need to fight, just give me the contract, and we will go. Too late for that, you woman-looking fag, came the voice of Naruto from the village gates. He didn't look good. He had managed to pass Madame Hikijo's test as she ordered to him to call her. Stupid bird. He was able to hold against her technique for an entire minute. A second later he was feeling thousands of volts through his body. He was the luckiest guy alive because of his bloodline, but he had almost no chakra, so if he was to fight Aoi it was going to be fast. Using as much strength as he could, he ducked under Aoi, who strangely was using a normal sword, probably underestimating him, and punched him on the face as hard as he could. The result was instantaneous. Aoi was sent flying in the woods, followed closely by Naruto, who shouted over his shoulder, "You take care of this, guys, and I'll beat this one all the," while ignoring Kakashi, Guy and Kurenai's shouts that Aoi was too dangerous and strong for him and calling for him to stay in the woods. You should have stayed with them. Now I can kill you. Take the scroll from your dead body and get out of here before they come for me, Aoi said while activating Raijin. You will pay for that hit from before. You won't live long enough to make me, he answered while eating a chakra pill, while on the inside he was praying for this technique to go well. Angered by his response, Aoi charged, swinging Raijin like there was no tomorrow. Naruto noted that his physical skills needed work, and he made his opinion known. Pathetic, you let that sword power to get to your head instead of training. Pitiful, this seemed to do the trick because Aoi's expression turned murderous, and he started swinging the blade faster, and even more wildly. Naruto was concentrated in evading as much as he can and healing when he was narrow-touched, all the while letting this fool fall on his trap. After 5 minutes of dodging, Naruto jumped over Aoi's head and kicked him on his back, sending him at 10 meters of distance. What's the matter? Tired already and trying to run for your life? Aoi said, smirking arrogantly. Fool, what did you call me, you fucking brat? Growled the missing Nin turned aim shinobi. I said fool, you have granted me the victory already, you idiot. Really? Aoi sneered, and how is that, brat? Besides a lucky kick on the head you have done nothing. I am still fresh and you look about to pass out, so tell me how you expect to beat me, he said with that stupid smile on his lips that he was going to wipe. Easy, look around you, nothing. What was a few minutes ago a forest was now nothing. Aoi had destroyed all the trees with his lightning. You created the field, so my technique have no chance to fail. Naruto inside hoped for it to work since he had not mastered it yet. Bring it, brat, you have nothing that could defeat me right now. His cocky smirk vanished the moment that Naruto screamed. Fujin Satepasu, Wind God Steps. This was Naruto's taijutsu style final technique and the jutsu that he created so he could surpass the Yandames, since he definitely was going to be stronger than that man. With that scream, Naruto vanished and appeared at the other side of the clearing behind Aoi. How that was your technique, it didn't GOURHRGGR. In Aoi's neck could be seen a cutting mark courtesy of Naruto's kunai. Naruto had severed his head. Falling to the ground, Aoi's hand let go of the Raijin and as a result it deactivated. Naruto, feeling unconsciousness claiming him, he used his last strength to take the Raijin from the floor and seal it on his arm where he kept all his important poses ions. The last thing he saw was Kurenai's beautiful worried face, followed closely for Kakashi and Guy. A day after. So did anyone get to see how Naruto killed Aoi, and what is more important, where is the Raijin? Asked Kakashi with his normal bored tone. This surprised Kurenai and Guy since the first was taking care of Naruto. Something useless since his bloodline was already taking care of his wounds, and the second was more interested in Naruto's mind state since it was probably his first kill. Again useless since thanks to the village Naruto could only feel indifference at the death of an enemy. Kurenai, you were the first one to get to him, did you see anything? The copynin continued impassively. Shaken out of her thoughts, she answered. No, sorry, but when I arrived I only get to see Naruto falling unconscious while looking at us. I see, then we'll have to wait for Naruto to wake up. He really wanted answers since Aoi was a B-ranked missing nin, and Naruto was merely a 9-year-old kid who wasn't even a genin. Forgetting that for the moment, he turned to another issue. I think that we have a spy or someone who is too interested in Naruto. The other two nodded. They too had noted that only Sarutobi or someone who had heard Naruto's conversation about the hidden heat haze and the summoning contract knew where they were going. That means someone in the village have an unhealthy interest in the former Jinchuriki. Their conversation was cut short when they felt Naruto stirring. Oh, what the hell, I am dead tired, he groaned, trying to get up, but he felt almost like if he had been stomped by that stupid summon Hikijo. Managing to seat, he saw the other three looking at him with worried faces. YOSH, my dear student, it's good to see you well. That proved that your flames of youth burn brightly, YOSH. The others could not help but sweat drop, and Naruto sighed. He couldn't help but be fond of Guy. Are you okay, Naruto? You gave us quite the scare, said Kurenai with an expression between worried and pissed. Yet just give a few minutes to recover my strength, and we'll be good to go. That's good, since we have a few questions, said Kakashi in a tone that Naruto noted with annoyance that it was in order. First, how did you defeat Aoi? I know that you are a seal genius, but there was no indication of seal usage. A technique that I invented, and before you ask, no, Aoi wasn't using the Raijin. That surprised Kakashi. What technique could do that, since first the cut that severed Aoi's head was clean, and how Naruto knew of the Raijin. So he voiced his question with the same tone that he used while he was in Umbu. That surprised the other two and pissed off Naruto. First, the technique that it's not any of your business, and second, I knew of Raijin since I was in the Hokage Tower when that happened. Kakashi wasn't happy with that, and went to answer when Naruto interrupted him again. Look, Hatake, I know perfectly well that my father wanted you and that imbecile sensei of his to watch out for me. Yes, I know, he continued at Kakashi's face and surprised face, and the other questioning ones. But I didn't need anyone when I was little, and I have no need for your shit now, so fuck off. That scandalized Kurenai, since such a young kid had such a vocabulary, and surprised Guy. Kakashi had paled, but he decided to insist. Look, Naruto, I know that I wasn't there for you, but this is serious, and I need to know. If he couldn't finish since Naruto interrupted him again. You need nothing, you are not the leader of this mission, and I have no obligation to answer you. The only person who know about it is Guy, and I made him promise to not tell anyone. So whatever you think you have a right to ask, save it. Besides, we should go already. I am well enough to travel. The others simply looked to him. But in the end, Guy destroyed the tension that had been created. YOSH, your flames of youth burns with the power of 100 suns, my dear student, if you recovered so soon. With that we're gone back to the village, not before Kakashi sending a look at Guy, meaning that he wanted to talk to him, and getting a pose in midair, making him and the others sweat drop. In Konoha a day later, Hokage Tower. So let me resume. Naruto managed to get the contract for the owls and a ninjutsu scroll that he found. That was pure luck that he managed to find it. He guessed that since it was a signature technique for that village, people overlooked to kill a missing nin. And lastly, you found that someone was spying in Naruto. Is that all? Sarutobi asked. The four of them nodded. The old Hokage sighed and continued, well, it's good to see you all well, Guy, Kurenai, Kakashi. I left your payment with my secretary, you three can go. Hi, Hokage-sama. The three said at the same time, and in seconds they were out of the office. The Sandaime turned to Naruto, and in a serious tone he turned to Naruto. Naruto, while you were unconscious we received a message from Kakashi in which he told us of the happenings, and the council wasn't very happy. Naruto for his part could care less of that bunch of idiots. But if the old man's face was any indication, he wasn't going to like this. Since you managed to defeat a chunin and procure a new contract for the village, yeah, you keep telling that to yourself, you stupid old man, thought Naruto, quite annoyed. The council deemed you fit enough to become a genin. Well, it wasn't that bad. But they read your father's will, fuck, just what he needed. That son of a bitch couldn't leave him alone even while dead. He knew what he was going to say, and since your father wanted for Kakashi to be your jounin instructor, you will be taking missions with other teams until Kakashi takes a team. And due to the problems with your expedition, you won't be able to leave the village in 2 years. Fucking council, when I leave this pitiful village I'll kill them all without mercy, were the dark thoughts of the 9-year-old. Very well, Hokage-sama. His tone had become already colder. If it was possible, the Hokage noted. Aoi's bounty has been added to your mother account, and I am sorry that this happened, Naruto-kun. If it make you feel better, take this time as a training leave. Naruto merely nodded and was out of the tower in seconds. The aged Hokage could only look at the kid father picture and think of how much he looked like him. Ever since the Kyuubi wasn't in Naruto's body, His bloodline had treated his whiskers marks like a scar and had made them almost disappear. He could only sigh and hope that Naruto get over his hate of his father and the village, because otherwise he couldn't see much future to his village. The next day could be seen Naruto getting out of his new apartment, since the old one was destroyed. The few things that he cared about were sealed on his arms, making the apartment plain. Only the basic, he didn't need more. The only thing that he regretted was the person who lived beside him. YOSH. Naruto-kun, now we can train our flames of youth every day. YOSH, let's start with 500 laps around Konoha. If we can't do that, we'll hit 5,000 times a tree, and if we can't do that. While Guy rambled, Naruto couldn't help but think that the next years were going to be interesting, to say the least, or how Guy would put it, YOSH. 2 years have come and gone. And like Sandaime advised Naruto, he took this time to advance his plans. He had made a new addition to his armed seals, a scroll full of jutsus courtesy of Hatake Kakashi. He couldn't help but cackle evilly every time he thought of how he got it. It was like stealing candy from a kid. The village security sure was shit. Flashback. He was training in his private training field. How would you ask he got one? Well, the answer was that in this one used to be the Namikaze compound, destroyed, or at least what was left of it by the Kyuubi attack, by Naruto's new S-rank technique, a technique that would give him his nickname in the future. He was now doing a few stretches when someone dropped from the trees. Not even looking to see who it was, he said, "I don't care why you are here, but this is a private training field, so get out." His answer was said in a bored but quite pissed voice. "Naruto, I know that you are pissed about having me as a Jounin sensei, but that it's no reason to destroy one of my sensei last memories. Hatake Kakashi, and pissed too though." Naruto with glee, "This will be a good time to test my theory." He though, "Oh really? Tell you what, if you defeat me in a fight, I'll give you this land so you can be your pitiful emo self without bothering no one, and leave me the fuck alone until you get your team. Are you serious? You think that you can defeat me just because you defeated a chunin, probably Jounin with Raijin, me an elite Jounin? What's scared of a child? Well, I warned you, prepare to see me everyday kid." With that, Naruto made 10 Kage Bunshin, which made Kakashi tense, since he didn't know that Naruto knew a Kinjutsu. But instead of attacking, they went in different directions and started drawing obscuring seals. Kakashi, seeing this, asked, "Why are you drawing those seals?" His answer was answered by an amused Naruto. "Well, for started, I want no one else to see the technique that killed Aoi, and 2, I don't want the old man to see my technique either." Kakashi could swear he heard someone sneeze, but tensed at the mention of the technique. "So you are going to use an assassination technique on a fellow shinobi?" Seeing that Naruto's expression, he lifted his Haidai, showing the Sharingan, hoping to see and copy whatever technique that Naruto was going to use. Even if it was not an assassination technique, it's going to be useless, and this fight is over. He knew by the little information that he had on Hatake that he knew more than 1,000 techniques. Exactly 1,005 techniques, but only a few mastered. Kakashi's strength relied on his strategic mind and the Sharingan, and if he used a technique impossible to copy, unexpected, and finished the fight fast, Kakashi was over. So in a moment, he used his Fujin Satepasu, Wind God Steps, and channeling all his strength on his right fist, he punched Kakashi on the back of his head, making him fall unconscious. Serves him right, he thought viciously. He should already know to never underestimate anyone, while he drugged Kakashi. With that, he made 2 hand seals and called his technique Shishio Bunshin no Jutsu, Blood Clone. This was his evolution of the Kage Bunshin, and a technique that only someone with his bloodline could do. The technique took the excess of blood on his body as a result of the healing ability, and makes a copy of himself that, unlike the Kage Bunshin, you needed more than a hit to dispel, to the point that Naruto practiced his few medical techniques on them. When the clone appeared, Naruto made him lay on the grass, and he started the process of implanting Hatake's Sharingan to the clone. In his investigation of the Sharingan, he found that the technique copied by the eyes were not directed exclusively to the user brain, but that the very eye has an estranged cell that acted like a tiny brain and recorded every copy technique. With the transplant done, Naruto gave half of his chakra to the clone and took a chakra pill. Naruto's clone, now with the Sharingan, concentrated all of his chakra and shouted Mizu Bunshin no Jutsu, Water Clone. Naruto found that without the Kyuubi he could only do 200 Kage Bunshin and 100 of his blood clones, so he realized that to copy all the 1,000 techniques that Hatake knew, he needed Mizu Bunshin, since these were at 10% of the original, making effectively 1,000, and that way he wouldn't remember the techniques, making him die from brain overload. With the 1,000 clones each knowing a technique, he took out a scroll the size of a man and opened it. The scroll extending through the training field was enough so each clone could copy down the instructions for each technique. An hour later, after the clones finished, he sealed the scroll on his full of seals arms under his GI and dispelled them. After another hour transplanting again the Sharingan to Kakashi, he dispelled the blood clone and started waking up Hatake. "Oh, why Hatake, wake up, you useless idiot!" Groaning and massaging his head, he woke up to see Naruto's annoyed face while looking down on him. He couldn't believe that he had been beaten by a kid. If the other Jounins heard of this, he was going to be the laughing stock of the village. "What did you do? One moment you were there and the next there was nothing but darkness." Naruto merely looked at him and decided to answer. After all, he had been a lot of help even if he didn't know it. "That thing you saw was the technique I made so that I could surpass my father and like you were able to see it doesn't need some seal or special kunai. He omitted that the technique has a limit and distance, and that since it wasn't finished it took a lot of him. Kakashi for his part was astonished. That a 9-year-old kid was able to create such a technique was mind-blowing, so he decided to ask for more information. Could you mind explain how you created that? Would be a valuable asset for the village? His hope was crushed with Naruto's answer. I could care less about this village and its well-being, and since I won our little spar, get out of here and don't bother me until you assemble your idiotic team. Seeing that this was not getting him anywhere, Kakashi turned around sadly and went out of the training field. Naruto for his part couldn't be happier. He gained 1,000 jutsus and got Kakashi to leave him the fuck alone. He had been coming daily with the excuse to get to know him, fucking imbecile. The only thing he was disappointed was that he couldn't copy his Chidori neither his Raikiri, since these two were original, although he left a little present in the eye. But the techniques more that made up for those two. He went to sleep with a happy smile that day, thinking that he was a step closer to his objective. And flashback. Since then he had concentrated and refined his abilities, creating very few techniques, although powerful. He was able to refine his taijutsu, especially having to train with Guy almost every day, a daily torture. But he could already tell that the only who could keep up with him in an all-out fight would be the Hokage and probably Jiraiya. Not that he let them know this, even if the Hokage knew that he could beat Kakashi. After Kakashi told the Hokage what has transpired between them, he had to give him the title of Special Jounin due to his abilities. The only reason that he wasn't a full Jounin was that he needed not only experience, but it was required of Konoha shinobis to work at least for a time with the team. Naruto wasn't amused by this, since he knew that his team will be composed of genins. Either was Uchiha Sasuke about Naruto being a special Jounin, but he stayed silent. It seemed that he remembered their last encounter. Today thought, he was going to meet the first team that he was going to be working first until he has his team. He had denied doing any D-ranked missions with other teams, or more like he had been forbidden to do so after the first time. He almost killed a newly graduated genin after he insulted him. The kid was from one of those families that still thought he was the demon. He broke the kid's arms, and he couldn't do higher missions since he couldn't get out of the village. But today's team he got along with 2 members. Team Guy. Godlike it wasn't enough with only Guy, he could only hope that his team wasn't like him. At least the mission will be a B-ranked one. Arriving at Training Field 9, he got to see a scene that will haunt him for the rest of his life. Guy and a mini-clone of Guy were hugging with happiness tears while waves rocked in the background with a shining sun, all the while 2 other persons looked at them with exasperated expressions. That stopped when Guy and his clone looked in his direction. Yash! Naruto-kun is good to see you on time. The other, seeing their sensei speaking to someone, turned around to see the newcomer. One of them had long hair and white eyes, identifying him as a Hyuga. The only girl in the group was looking at him with interest on her eyes. She had brown hair and eyes and a couple of cute buns that made her look like a panda. YOSH team, let me introduce you to my first student, and a genius my asses, thought Naruto. I had to work my ass off to get where I am today. This seemed to shake his mini-clone, because in a moment he was in front of him, shaking his hand. YOSH. I am Rock Lee, and it is a pleasure to meet you, Naruto Kyuubi. I have heard of how your flames of youth surpass the unyouthful Kyuubi. I will have to train hard to surpass you, Naruto-kun. YOSH. This seemed to make Guy even more hyper, because at that moment he started crying. Lee, Gi-sensei, Lee, Gi-sensei. Ignoring those 2, the girl come up to Naruto and introduced herself. Hello there, I am Tenten, and the brooding guy over there is Niji. Is a pleasure to meet you, she said with a smile. The pleasure is all. He didn't get to finish because the Hyuga interrupted him. They said you got rid of the Kyuubi, but that was only thanks to a bunch of seals. Fate decrees that once a loser you will always be a loser. Naruto merely looked at him and answered. You are a Hyuga, right? From the branch family. Niji was a bit miffed but nodded. Then please tell me why I would listen to a slave. That seemed to enrage Niji, because he gave a scream and charged at Naruto. Faster than he could track, Naruto gave him a kick to the face that made him crash against a tree. Before Niji could get up, he found Naruto's hand squeezing his neck. Listen and listen well, Hyuga said, an enraged Naruto with a hand around Niji's neck and the other stopping Lee, while a scared Tenten and an incredibly impassive Guy looked at the scene. I am going to let you go this time, but if you ever, and I mean ever, insult me again, you fucking excuse of a human being, I'll beat you within an inch of your life. Besides, you say that I am a loser, but yet I am a special Jounin, and you are still a genin. What makes you then? All the while squeezing more to prove his point and leaving a surprised team. With that he let him go and let him recover his breath. Guy, in a try to dissipate the tense atmosphere, screamed, YOSH Naruto-kun is here so that he could gain experience in high-ranking missions, so he can gain the full Jounin rank. That seemed to do the trick, since Lee jumped with the same hyper attitude, and the others looked at him in a new light. YOSH Naruto-kun, your flames of youth must burn brighter than mine if you attain such rank so young. That only inspires me to train more. YOSH Lee, Gi-sensei, Lee, Gi-sensei, Lee. Seeing Guy and Lee in their little world, Tenten chose to know more about their temporary teammate. Excuse me, but is that some kind of fan in your back? At this, Guy, Lee, and even that emo Niji looked at Naruto. He had continued using his black pants and black gi with the 2 lotus flower on the back and a red spiral on where his heart should be. The only changes were his grow. He was about an inch shorter than Lee but taller than Niji and Tenten, that and the fan on his back. The fan was as big as him. It was black with his 2 lotus flower, and it had the form of a giant butterfly. Think of Madara's fan but black and 2 lotuses. He could see Tenten looking at the piece of art with something that looked like adoration. YOSH. My dear students, since Naruto-kun is here, let us go for our first B-rank mission. YOSH. At this the other 3 looked at Guy excited, especially Lee, who had stars on his eyes. What the fuck? Good to see you get along with your temporary team, Naruto, said the aged Hokage, not noticing the nervous looks that Tenten was shooting between Naruto and Niji. Let us begin, then. Since a few months now there had been a lot of people disappearing close to Kubasaki Castle in Neck Country. I want you and your team to take a look and try to find out who is behind all this. YOSH. Hokage-sama, my team along with Naruto-kun Flames of Youth will complete this mission successfully. YOSH. Guess who? Okay team, we will meet in the South Gate in an hour. YOSH. HAIGI-sensei. With that he and Lee were gone in a dust cloud, making everyone else sweat drop. The other simply walked out at a normal pace. Naruto didn't especially care either way. This was an opportunity to get out of the village and start with the construction of his village, or in this case of his compound. In the scroll that his mother left him there were various blueprints for a compound, all idea of his mother. You have to start for something, right? Before Naruto got to the gate he could already hear the ruckus that Guy and Lee were making. He could see Guy and Lee trying to convince the 2 chunins at the gate for something, probably for some weird challenge of them, and Tenten screaming at them to stop while Niji merely observed them with his usual patented Hyuga stare. He was late because he was buying the 3 biggest scrolls that he could found. He sealed the 3 scrolls in the one he wearied on his back. YOSH. It seems that we are all here, so let us go to our mission. YOSH. With that he started running really fast with Lee following close behind him, trying to not stay behind Naruto, Tenten and Niji starting jumping from tree to tree so the other 2 don't leave them behind. A week later Naruto was ready to kill the next person that said Flames of Youth or YOSH, and he could swear that he had to heal his eyes twice from blindness from that stupid pose with overly shining teeth. As they neared to the castle Naruto could note something weird with the so-called castle. Are those muscles? He thought. What the? A summon? Indeed it seemed like some kind of lizard. The only reason that he was able to see it was because of his immunity to genjutsu, and even barely since the lizard was using genjutsu in conjunction with his camouflage natural abilities. It was a good thing too because Guy and Lee were about to enter the castle. Thinking quickly and being the opportunist that he is, he started speaking. Guy-sensei, Lee, stop where you are. At this the others turned to look at him. Niji, use your Byakugan and tell me what you see. At his request Niji did it, and gasped, making the others look at him. What is it, Niji? Asked Tenten. Whatever this thing is, there is chakra all around it. Do you see some kind of scroll? After a moment he nodded, confirming Naruto's theory. Listen Guy-sensei, I have a plan. At his nod Naruto continued, it seems like this is some kind of summoned creature, so we will have to act quickly. If you let me I can take care of this creature while you and your team take care of the kidnapped people. After a minute in which Naruto was getting desperate he accepted. He knew that Naruto can in any case summon Hikijo to help him. YOSH team, let's help the trapped people and let Naruto-kun take care of the summon. With that they entered, leaving Naruto out. Taking the opportunity he made a blood clone and a shadow clone. Next he went through a few Han seals and putting both hands on the ground he called the usual Kuchios no Jutsu. From the clouds of smoke came 2 little owls. The first was Mabui, cute, and the second was her sister Nemui, sleepy. This last was brown unlike Mabui that was white and have the crescent moon mark in the other eye. Hey Naruto, it's been a long time, isn't it? Asked both at the same time. Are you going to sing us a lullaby now? Yes sure, said a sweating Naruto. He had been postponing this for a long time, but first I need your help with something. Oh well, okay, but you will have to sing too this time, okay? At this he nodded while tears of misery escaped his eyes. Done. Good, I need you Mabui to go with that clone, he said, pointing to the blood one. He is going to give you that scroll. At this he pointed to one of the reserve scrolls he got from his house, so that you keep it for me in your realm until I ask you, understand? At this the little owl nodded and was off with the clone. She already knew that it was for the house since he has asked her to take the blueprints to the construction company in Tea Country some time ago. Turning toward Nemui he signaled the shadow clone and ordered, I want you to go with him, and do the same that your sister. Keep the summoning contract with you until I tell you. At this the little owl nodded, almost falling from the sleep, making Naruto sweat drop, and was gone with the clone. 20 minutes later he received the clone's memories and was happy to note that he had a new summoning contract. That was a step further on his plans, and to think that this mission was a waste of time, he thought amused. A half hour later he was worried since there was no signal from Guy and the others. Deciding that enough was enough he entered the castle. He didn't want to know what part of the creature anatomy was the door. It was disgusting. Since genjutsu was useless in him could see the insides of the summon moments before he was attacked by some kind of tentacles. Acting quickly he summoned 50 shadow clones and make them go in different direction. While running, he was receiving the memories of the destroyed clones. One of them managed to see where Guy and the others were. He was going to kill Guy. The fucking retard and his mini-me were trying to get the reanimated body of the last feudal lord to do exercises while shouting about the flames of youth. Fucking lunatic. When he got to where they were he saw them helping the trapped people. Niji was trying to make an exit with Jukin palms only to be pushed back. YOSH Naruto-kun has come to help us. YOSH deciding not to answer he made 20 shadow clones while he prepared an exit. Futon chakra no mezu, wind chakra scalpel. Thrusting his hand on the wall and pushing as much chakra as he could without destroying technique, he opened a wall big enough so a person could get through. Immediately the hole started sucking person after person until they were all out. But that also made the summon aware that his captives were out. Giving what looked like a roar, the castle started changing to give way to something that looked like a hybrid between a chameleon and a salamander. You won't escape. I will follow my summoner last orders. With that he took air and exhaled some kind of yellow flame. Ikai Kasai, lizard fire. Naruto, acting quickly and seeing the necessity to protect the others, went through a familiar set of hand seals. Uzumaki Jutsu Toku, Whirlpool shield. His familiar water shield appeared, but this time it was stronger, and it looked like a gigantic spinning tower. After holding for half a minute, the flame receded. Not giving the summon an opportunity to use other attack, he went through two others' hand seals. Uzumaki Jutsu Mizuhuku, water roar. The already spinning water tower moved in the summon direction, hitting it in the face before the astonished faces of the others. The summon thought recovered quickly, and seeing that it was going to attack again, Guy started going through hand seals, but it was unnecessary. Wait! Screamed Tenten to the surprise of everyone. Excuse me, but are you Shiramori? At this everyone turned to the giant lizard to see if he was listening. Naruto, Guy, Lee and Niji didn't lower their guard. How do you know my name, little girl? Even if a little miffed about the little girl comment, Tenten continued, it was in one of your last summoner scrolls, Kubasaki Kuza. Yes, what of it? He stated the reason of your summoning, and he also stated for whoever found his scrolls to thank you and tell you when the war was over for you to go back and rest. And how do I know that what you read saying is true? Here is the scroll. You can see it yourself. With that she got closer the scroll to Shiramori's giant eye. I see. It seems like my services are no longer needed. Yes, a thank you would allow you to sign the contract, but I can't longer feel it so here at the mention of the contract. Everyone looked at Naruto, who shacked his head with an ashamed face, like saying like he destroyed it, while in the inside he was congratulating himself for his idea of telling Nemui to take the contract with her. He felt a little bad for Tenten, but he promised himself to make it up to her. Meanwhile Shiramori had finished, and was giving Tenten a piece of skin. With that, the summon nodded to everyone and disappeared in a giant puff of smoke. Tenten thought was confused. Seeing this, Naruto answered her unasked question. You're very lucky, Tenten-chan. That skin allows you by pumping chakra on it to become one with your surrounding. If you want, I can make you a cape with that skin. I promise to make it cool. Tenten was blushing because of the suffix and happy for her new acquisition. Naruto, although surprised by the suffix, he guessed that he was a little fond of the weapon-obsessed girl. He didn't mid making the cape after all his clothes were made by himself. The wonders of Kage Bunshin. The moment lasted little though. YOSH, it seems like we have completed our first B-ranked mission. Yash and Naruto-kun have made friends at this. Tenten blushed even more. But since you are going to make something for Tenten, when are you going to make a jumpsuit in you black hip color for me? YOSH. Eh? You said something, Guy-sensei? No, your attitude is as hip as my rival. No, he said while running in the distance with tears on his eyes and Lee behind screaming, don't worry Gi-sensei, with our training we will defeat them. Everyone else was sweat dropping at the sight except Niji, Tenten and Naruto, who only sighed. Naruto couldn't help but be relieved that the mission was over. Little did he know that the mission was only starting. They were on their way back to Konoha. After staying 3 days in Neck Country, they decided that it was time to come back. Guy and Lee were their usual happy self. Niji, as always, was brooding. Tenten was happy since Naruto already finished her cape. She loves it. The cape was black with pink lines at the side and a hood. The neck and chest parts were like her usual ones, Chinese styled, and on the back were 2 Tai Chi swords crossed. Naruto, for his part, had already received news from his summons, and was happy that everything went along the planned. He was now making something a sword for Tenten, as a way of making up for the summon thing. After finding that her elemental affinity was fire, he had been using seals to make a flaming sword. He realized that since wind can be used to increase the power of a weapon, a flaming sword can be done too. Of course, with a little help from seals. He also planned to recruit her. He was giving the red katana to a salivating Tenten when they heard the squeak of a hawk from Konoha flying in their direction. Guy, showing some kind of seriousness for once, took the message and read it. It seemed that a conflict between the Wasabi family and the Wagarashi family had escalated to higher proportions. The Wasabi family head Jirocho was seen speaking with Tsunade of the Sannin, and the Wagarashi though that they were planning to wipe them, so this one hired shinobis from Ames so that they could counterattack. Since they were the closest, they were to go and help Tsunade to negotiate. The fight had got to the point that the daimyos were powerless. With that, Team Guy and Naruto went in direction to Tea Country. While on the road, Naruto was thinking that this was a perfect opportunity. The daimyo was probably desperate since the conflict was causing many problems, and he couldn't do anything. Either family was listening to him. Ever since he started planning the reconstruction of Whirlpool, he had been looking for a new place for it, since the last one's strategic situation was pure shit. Hence Kiri and IWA had a good time destroying it. Since the day that he found about it, he had an incredible hate for these 2 villages. He was sure that with a little side business he could get the new location for his village, and now better since Sea Country and Tea Country were unified. It was truth. A few months ago he, with the support of Anko, had been ordered in a mission to Sea Country. The mission consisted on discover something about some sea monster, and help the princess arrive safely to Tea Country where her future husband awaited. In the end they discovered that all the destruction was due to an idiot subordinate of Orochimaru named Amachi who was using a little girl and a summon to cause destruction. Naruto and Anko had a great time killing the guy, and Naruto learned a lot about torture. After destroying the island where Orochimaru's base was and taking the girl Isaribi to Konoha as one member of Naruto's secret group, Naruto found out of Anko's curse, and since then he had been looking for a solution. Now thought they were arriving to their destination. The negotiations were taking place in Degarashi port. It was in a big tea house private room. Arriving there and after showing their Konoha's headband that Naruto had to unseal from a scroll since he didn't like to be associated with Konoha, they entered to the room. In the room were 6 persons. 2 were the daimyo and his wife the princess from Sea Country. Another was a gray-haired man who looked at them with indifference, and Naruto recognized as Jirocho the head from the Wasabi family. In front of him was another man that Naruto supposed was Kuroka the head from the Wagarashi clan. The last 2 were 2 women that Naruto recognized immediately. The first was a blonde-haired woman with 2 pigtails and a green jacket and big breasts. If he wasn't wrong, from the look of adoration courtesy of Tenten, this one was Tsunade of the Sannin. But the one that interested Naruto, and if the blush on his face was an indication, liked him, was a black-haired girl with a black kimono and a little pig on her arms. She was beautiful. Many would think of her as simple, but Naruto found her stunningly cute. This was a girl that didn't need stupid makeup or flashy clothes. This woman was a natural beauty just like I am and Anko, but with a calm air that made Naruto relax just being close to her. His musings were cut short because before anyone could say anything, Kumiko, the daimyo's wife, was upon him, hugging him and squeezing his cheeks. Naruto, it had been so long, and you don't even write to me, Pooh. Now he remembered this was the reason this woman irritated him. She found his serious attitude cute. He could see the daimyo's amused face, and the others' astonished ones. Oh, sorry, it's just that Naruto helped me a time ago, and I missed him. At this the rest only nodded. After greeting everyone and introduced themselves to the others, they stayed in the back to see the negotiations. Hi there. You are Shizen, right? Lame, Naruto thought to himself. Yes, you must be Uzumaki Naruto, right? It's a pleasure to meet the destroyer of the Kyuubi. At his surprised look she giggled cutely, and explained that they knew of him. After that they passed the time speaking with each other. 2 hours later the negotiations were taking them nowhere. There was a knock on the door. After a moment entered someone that Naruto recognized from the bingo book. Before anyone could react he buried a fist in the guy's face and pinned him to the wall. You will release my subordinate right now or you will face the Wasabi wrath, screamed an outraged Jirocho, followed by Tsunade. What do you think you are doing, brat? You are attacking Jirocho's personal assistant. They were silenced when Naruto's killer intent rose. I don't care if this guy is your mother, he is a missing nin, and I will treat him as such. Lies. He didn't care for the kid, but he had to act like he cares. Sorry, kid. And I could care less about a stupid clan that I could wipe in minutes. This seemed to piss off Jirocho, but before he could open his mouth the daimyo intervened. Enough. He commanded. It seems that today we can't do anything, so let's reunite tomorrow, and Naruto, please let that kid go. At this Naruto let the kid go, and with that the 2 clan head were gone, Jirocho leaving with a pissed merino-eyed and a glare to Naruto. After they were out Naruto turned to the daimyos and with a respectful tone he said, I am sorry that you had to see that. I would like to speak with your excellences alone if that's possible. At this Kumiko simply started to hug him again, while the daimyo answered, very well Naruto, be at our room at 8 p.m. Okay. Thank you, your excellence. After they were gone Naruto turned toward his fellow comrades and had to dodge a fist from Tsunade. What the fuck do you think you were doing, you stupid brat? You could have started a fucking fight that you can't finish. Guy, scared that his student was going to be killed, started apologizing for him. Tsunade-sama, please forgive Naruto-kun, he didn't know that he didn't finish since Naruto interrupted him. There's nothing to apologize for since I didn't anything wrong. This seemed to piss the blonde woman even more since she started to try to hit him again while screaming, nothing to apologize? You idiot, almost destroyed the negations. This was supported by Tenten, it seemed, because she was nodding all the time. Blasted idol syndrome though Naruto with disappointment, but he was pissed now. Enough, you stupid woman, said with a blast of killer intent that stopped Tsunade from attacking and have Niji, Lee and Tenten trembling. I did what I had to do. Besides, if I have to apologize to someone it would be to the daimyo, not to you. Naruto, you almost ruined the negotiations that Tsunade-sama had been working on, and started Tenten, but a glare from Naruto stopped her. First of all, I don't follow her orders, I only follow orders from those I respect, and second, what negotiations? The only thing they do is scream each other's while she drinks. You would do well to pay respect to your superiors, boy, growled Tsunade. Behind her Shizen looked scared for him. He wasn't. I would when I meet a superior, but since I haven't, well, I don't. That only pissed more the slightly drunk woman since she attacked. He sidestepped the punch and activating his futon chakra no meze he managed to slash her arm before she jumped away. Shizen, seeing that the fight was escalating, intervened. Tsunade-sama, please stop. Why don't we go to that casino you wanted to go? That tranquilized the woman since she stopped. After directing a glare at Naruto she snapped at Shizen, well, what are you waiting for? Let's go. Naruto didn't like that tone, neither how she treated Shizen, but he stayed quiet after a look formed this one. After they were out of their sight Tenten rounded on Naruto, only to met his glare. If you dare to lecture me or try to tell me some fangirl shit about that woman you will regret it. With that he turned around and went in another direction, leaving a sad, thinking Tenten and a distressed teen guy. After a little walk, Naruto decided to meditate to calm himself and train a little his bloodline. Ever since he had dedicated little to no time to it. Proof of that being that he only had made a technique related to it. Realizing this, he started studying his healing abilities and how to use it for offensive purposes. He only found a way. After experimenting with poisons, he found that he had literally 2 chakra networks. One for his normal chakra and a second one for healing, and he found that combining the 2 he could retain poison on his body. Now though he was trying to make it so when someone touches him like in a taijutsu fight that person ended poisoned. As a result, he had decided to name his bloodline Chiyu-sun, Healing Snake, due to his healing abilities but also his poison capacity. Enko was a happy woman and Naruto's fangirl club president just for this. He meditated about 4 hours, but the most he could accomplish was for the poison to extend to his abs. He thought that he was making progress but was a bit disappointed since he wanted to cover his entire body with it. He was interrupted by Shizun. Hey there. He looked up to find her smiling at him. He blushed a little but answered, "Hello again, I thought that you were with the crazy woman." She giggled a bit, but after a moment she got a little sad and said, "You know, she was not always like this. There was a time when she was really a great person." With that she started telling him about Tsunade's story. When she finished he said, "It may have been hard," he said softly, "but that's no reason to treat you like that or behave like that with others." Seeing her sad face he said in a cheery voice, "But enough talking of her, I want to know about my beautiful companion." After a moment she smiled with a little blush and simply nodded. They passed the afternoon speaking and telling about each other, having a great time. When he got to the daimyo's room, more like a mini palace, he thought he entered after giving his identification to the guards. "Naruto-kun, come in," said a cheery Kumiko. "Now tell us, to what do we owe this little secret meeting?" "Yes, I am also curious," said the daimyo Keitaro. "I admit that I am curious, seeing that only you came." "Yes, is about an important proposition that I have, but first could you tell the others to get out since this is only for your ears?" After reassurances from Keitaro and his wife to their guards that they would be okay, they got out of the room. Naruto, seeing that there was still some other person in the room, he told him so. "I will have you know, child, that I am the advisor of His Excellence, therefore any proposition must be heard by me." "It's truth, Naruto Gokaro has served as a minister and advisor for a long time. I think that you can trust him," said Keitaro. "It's not that I don't trust him, which I don't," he thought, "is because it's a very delicate and personal matter that I have, and I need your advice and not him." This seemed to annoy Gokaro since he started to answer, but Kumiko interrupted, seemingly catching in what Naruto wanted. "Is okay, Gokaro, we will hear Naruto-kun. After all, we owe him much for the help he provided our country months ago." This didn't sit well with the advisor, but he accepted and got out of the room. "Okay, Naruto, what is that so important that required the absence of my advisor?" said Keitaro. "Well, for starter, your excellence, your advisor is a traitor since he is helping the Wagarashi family, especially on those famous races." This surprised Keitaro but not Kumiko. "How do you know of this, Naruto-kun?" questioned Kumiko. "I had one of my summons follow him and discovered that from time to time he helps the Wagarashi clan win their races by hiring shinobis to destroy their adversaries. His summon was Mabui. He now owe her 4 lullabies. See, I told you that he wasn't a good person, I told you. But you wouldn't listen," said an exited Kumiko to Keitaro, who could only sigh. "I see, thank you, Naruto. It seems that my trust in him was misplaced. Your services are greatly appreciated." I haven't finished at this. The couple looked at him with dread. It seems that he, along with the Wagarashi clan, hired a group of men means to kill you both so that he can become the new daimyo since you have no child. They looked like they were going to faint any moment. Keitaro was extremely pale and Kumiko was sobbing. Seeing this as an opportunity, he continued, "On my way here I ran into some of those means and was able to get some information out of them." Flashback. Naruto, after stopping for something to eat, was on his way to meet the daimyos when out of nowhere whips made of water came out of nowhere and wrapped around him. Out of air appeared 2 means. One was a gray-haired male with a blue mark on his nose and a brown-haired woman that Naruto supposed was attractive with blue pants and an open shirt that showed the white top under it. Well, look at this, his aim. We fished ourselves a little Konoha Genin. What do you think we should do with him?" said the man, to which his aim responded, "Maybe we should kill him and fault of this to the Wasabi family. Maybe that way we can get back to Suion and finally steal the hero water from his former village Karasane?" She answered with a pleased expression that Naruto was going to enjoy wiping out. "You two are pitiful," he said, impassive and with a bored expression, "telling your plans just like that, and I am no Genin, you fucking retard." "What did you say, you stupid brat? Do you know who are you speaking like that?" said the guy, now Karasane. "Yes, if what that stupid bitch said is truth, then you must be with Suion A-ranked missing Nin, and supposedly stronger former Jounin from Taki," he answered, surprising them, "and I said that you are pitiful." With that the trapped Naruto puffed out of existence, alerting the other two of the real Naruto a few meters behind them. "I am going to say this once, so listen," he said. "You are going to tell me all you know, and maybe I will let you live this time." His eyes were ice cold. "Fuck you, brat, we are not going to tell you shit," said his aim with more courage that she felt. "Very well, then we are doing it my way." With that Naruto vanished and appeared behind Karasane and gave him a kick in the head that sent him flying towards his partner. His aim, seeing this, made her water whip and tried to hit Naruto, only for this one to disappear again with incredible skill. Naruto, deciding to finish this fast, took out 4 kunai with restriction seals and pinned his aim to a wall where she couldn't move. Karasane, seeing her partner in danger, attacked too, only to feel a cool kunai on his neck. Seeing how I only need one person, you are useless to me. By then Kirasame was sweating a river and trembling. They thought that this would be an easy kill, and it turned out the kid was much stronger than them. And before I forget, I am a special jounin fool, not giving time to reply. He buried the kunai deep on Kirasame's neck, killing him. Without looking back, he turned to his aim that by this time was sobbing. Wait, I'll tell you everything, but please let me go, please, she pleaded. Shame Naruto didn't care right now. Since you didn't want to cooperate, I'll have to make you with that. He hit her on the back of her head, making her fall unconscious. It was time to test that slave seal that he found on his pathetic excuse of a father books. End flashback. It seems that the Wagarashi and the Wasabi clan are tired of these races, he continued, because the Wasabi clan hired Kirigakure Nins. The last part came out as a growl, but he couldn't help it. I see. Tell me, Naruto, can you think of any way to stop this? Asked Kumiko, with Keitaro nodding all the time. This was the part he had planned carefully. He knew that they either accepted or they would die, as much as he wouldn't like to kill them. I have a deal for you two. At this they both looked at him, so he continued, I know that you two despise violence and death, but this time is necessary. Keitaro merely looked at him, pale but with determination, and Kumiko turned her head to look in another direction. I will take care of both families along with their allies. At this the couple turned green. They knew Naruto was capable since they saw what was left of Amachi in Sea Country. And what would you like in exchange? Naruto, this time serious but curious. Naruto let a smirk grace his face, letting them know that this was not going to be cheap. But since it was their lives in game, they heard him. 3 days later, after the Wasabi and the Wagarashi clans took the absence of their daimyo as a permission to kill each other, and the advisors took it as if they were leaving it under his responsibility, so it was with a heavy heart that the Konoha Nin sans Naruto saw both clans along with their hired shinobis going to fight until there is only ruler family. We are here to decide for once and all which family takes the control of the port. You have 2 hours to fight. In the end, the one with more members alive stay the rulers. Ready? At this both mafia boss nodded, but before they started a voice could be heard through the entire beach. Neither of you are going to fight because either family will rule this place, either will you become daimyo Gokaro. At the surprised faces of the advisors and the Wagarashi clan, everyone else understood what was happening. Tsunade was the first to recover and turned to speak to Naruto, or more like scream, since he was at the other end of the beach, while they were in a safe zone from the battle. Naruto, what the hell are you talking about, and where the hell were you these days? Everyone turned to see the blonde. First, I was taking the daimyos to a safe place, and second, I am going to wipe this place of all this filth, he said, sneering to the mafia gangs. Hearing his declaration, they all started laughing. Guy, knowing that Naruto was serious, started speaking in soft tones and a sad face to the others from Konoha. Idate, after controlling his laugh, decided to speak. Listen kid, my brother is a Konoha shinobi, and I myself was one. Do you think that a kid like you could take on all of us 2 families, 10 Kirinins and 6 from AIM? Do yourself a favor and get out of here. At his declaration they started to laugh again. Naruto for his part just looked at them while taking his fan from his back. Seeing this, Shizun, that was scared beyond anything, screamed, Naruto-kun, get out of there, they are going to kill you. The Wagarashi clan started laughing again, and the head of the family said, you should listen to her if you don't want to die. Maybe after I kill you I'll have fun with. He didn't finish. The killer intent was beyond anything they have felt. Even the shinobis were shaking. This was beyond human. They turned toward the source and found Naruto with an expression that could make any veteran shit himself. Fun? I'll be the one having fun while your pathetic bodies rot. With that he took his fan, putting half of his chakra reserve on it. Futon Kurokaze, black wind. The technique was monstrous. A wave of wind the size of a tsunami passed through the 2 clans, and their nins, leaving only blood and loose limbs. This was one of the few techniques that he created. A wind so powerful that can't be stopped, and with 5 times the pressure of an Atsugai. The Konoha nins could only look at the carnage with awe and repulsion. Tenten, Niji and Lee threw up, and Tsunade was on her knees shaking from so much blood. Guy and Shizun could only look at such devastation. The beach was no more, there was only blood. A month later, Kirigakure, in the Mizukage Tower, Uchiha Madara, Naidame Mizukage, was sitting thinking about the information on the Kyuubi vessel. He refused to believe that a mere kid was able to best the Kyuubi. That was probably one of Konoha's tactics. Either way, he will have to ask his former student about it. He was about to go to aim when a chunin entered in his office with a face that looked like he had seen the devil himself. What is the meaning of this chunin? Madara asked with a cold voice, looking like he was going to kill the guy. Mizukage-sama, a message from one of our informants in T country is important, he said, handing the message to his superior. Madara took it, and although the chunin couldn't see his face, he knew that he was pissed from the immense killing intent. You said to the scared chunin, you are going to put this kid in the bingo book. Hi Mizukage-sama, he responded with a salute. Which rank, and what name do I give, sir? At this Madara laughed, and answered, Uzumaki Naruto Kaze Seijin, Wine Sage. S rank. His cold laugh could be heard around Kirigakure. Naruto's POV. Ever since I was a child I had been ignored or downright hated. Of course there were people like the Sandame, but I learned since a young age not to trust anyone, and soon I was able to see that the old man wanted me to be one of those puppets of his that are always spouting shit like the will of fire. I finally understood after reading my parents' respective wills. He wanted for me to become like my father, an ignorant fool that can only think of how to please a village that hated me and to forgive those who wronged me. And that fool, why should he forgive them when they cannot even see the difference between a child and a 9-tailed fox? Since then I disliked Sarutobi Hijirin, and vowed to myself that one day I would be free. That's right, my dream was to leave that village and have a peaceful life with no one to put me down even before knowing of my mother. Then there was Kabuto. I wasn't a stranger to Kabuto's spying activities. After all, I learned everything I know on stealth and spying from him. Of course by then Kabuto didn't know of my intelligence. It was after he teaches me about ninjutsu that he found out. By then it was too late, but we reached an agreement equally good for both parties. It was finding about my mother that drove me to plan for a different future. I knew that Konoha shinobis were not exactly idiots. After all, they had a clan composed of genius and another that could read mind. Not to say that some of them could even see inside of my head. So I needed something that not only would protect me from these clans but to gain their confidence too. I found my answer on seals and the Kyuubi. After years of studying seals, I found out my solution and what difference real seal masters from apprentices. The simplicity. After years of looking for incredibly complex seal arrays, I found the solution rather simple. The technique that I used simply awakened the ing chakra of the fox and ordered to him to make a portal to his original dimension. The personality of this chakra only cared for blood, so I offered to him and puffed direct portal and no fox. The bloodline, well, I only needed it as a defense against Konoha clans in case they attacked. I had studied the different bloodlines and knew that I could counter them to an extent with my own. Hyuga Jukin, yeah right, he had 2 chakra network and he could with a little more of training poison someone with a touch. The Yamanaka clan were useless without their techniques. Their techniques, although considered ninjutsu, were actually applied like genjutsu, thus making him immune and on and on. I never left anything to luck. Even the expedition for the summoning contract was planned. I used Kabuto's contacts to tip AIM into the summoning contract, and that it would be in Aoi's interest to go looking for it since it was lightning-based. I didn't expect the summon to be a crazy feminist owl, but hey, it was a powerful summon. Neither did he expect for the very summon to tire him so much. The plan to steal the Raijin almost went to shit, but in the end I made it. I needed the sword so that I could see how it was made. My seal's speciality was warding and destruction, but I thought that offering prized weapons like this or something similar would get me the alliance of other clans. Of course, I also made weapons for my clan and invented techniques and other things that will make my clan powerful. I have a list of Yuzu, Whirlpool, former clans. Of course, almost all are extinct or weak, but I'll look for others. Now though, I am interested in this. While Team Guy and Shizen help Tsunade, I can feel myself blushing just at the thought of Shizen and her beautiful smile. What the fuck? Her beautiful smile? Anyway, I am just looking at this cute girl that had somehow survived my attack. Of course, it may be due to the fact that she covered behind a big guy and used some kind of steel music instrument, or that her wounds were being healed by some wine-colored chakra that felt extremely malicious. I can't help myself but let a predatory grin cover my face. Just my good luck. A Jinchuriki and a missing Nin at that. Quickly I make a blood clone and send it away with the girl on his arms. That girl has a future at my side and he wasn't about to let it go. Turning towards his teammates, I see a trembling Tsunade staring at the blood while Shizen tried to calm her. I don't know why she keeps taking care of that woman. She was always drunk and screaming at her. I know their story, but it wasn't fair the way Tsunade acted towards her. I have hopes for a future with Shizen. I admit that I have a crush on her. I guess that I'll have to persuade anyone that attempt to hit on her, at least until I am old enough to be considered boyfriend material. As I got closer, I can see Gaia's sad face and the scared ones from Niji, Lee, Tenten and Shizen. This last one hurt me, but this was necessary. I made a deal with Keitaro and Kumiko. They will pay me a hefty sum of money and sign a document that declared an alliance between them, and whatever place I choose to live, and, for me, I will destroy those that wish them harm, i.e. the Wagarashi clan and their former advisor. The Wasabi was only in the wrong place. I don't care for any of those scum life. They looked at me like I was some crazy psycho, that they may be right. But I simply willed my face to put a sad facade and I said, sorry about that, but it was my job and the deal I made with the people that employed us at this guy, and the others look at me surprised except Tsunade that is still trembling. What do you mean, Naruto-kun? Shizen asked me with her sweet caring voice. I continued with my sad face. Is easy since I used to put that face to get free ramen. I love ramen, great stuff. Oh yeah, I haven't answered. You see, I discovered that the Wagarashi clan and the advisor were planning to kill the Damia-s. At this they all gasped, and Tsunade continued trembling. What the hell? Oh well. So I warned them and we come to an agreement. I am sorry for the other clan, I am not, but they wouldn't listen to me. It seemed like I was traumatized or something because Shizen hugged me. I enjoyed the feeling of her body. Is warm and the smell was delicious. Oh yes, I am enjoying every minute of this. After she let me go, I look at the others and they all looked at me with sympathy. Idiots. All except Tsunade. What the hell is her problem? She is still trembling, so I get to her and make her wake up. I bitch slapped her. It wasn't necessary, but hey, it was fun and is payback for Shizen-chan. The others looked at me like if I had just pissed on my father's grave. It isn't a bad idea actually. Anyway, all of them looked scared and I noted a little glint in Shizen-chan eyes that indicated that she somehow thought Tsunade deserved it. She has a lot of potential. Naruto, what the hell are you doing slapping Tsunade-sama like that, you idiot? Screamed Tenten at me while the others with Tsunade included looked at me stunned. What? She seemed to be in shock, so I simply woke her. The other's sweat dropped while Tsunade seemed to came out of dreaming world and looked at me with a pissed face and tears on her eyes. You bastard, did you really think that this was the only solution? You committed a massacre, and you stay there like nothing, Tsunade-sama. Silence, Shizen. Now I am the one who is starting to get pissed. Besides, what was so important that made you kill the Wasabi clan when they did nothing? Answer me? With that she jumped at me with incredible speed and tried to punch me. She failed, but she destroyed the ground where I was standing, and the shockwaves told me that I would be finished with one hit of those. The others thought so too. I was going to counterattack, but Shizen was in the middle trying to calm her big-breasted gorilla of a master. It was when Tsunade shoved Shizen out of the way that I lost my patience. Before she could react, I threw 2 kunai in her direction, making her jump in his direction. Fool. I make a Kage Bunshin and he knows what to do. I simply throw a few shuriken while my clone screams. Futon Repushu, Gale Wind Palm. The shuriken with the force of wind was enough to hurt her. She evaded, yes, but I can see that I managed to hurt her. But I had no intention of letting her go just like that, so I rushed at her with my wind scalpel and was about to cut a limb when Guy and the others intervened. Guy was holding Tsunade while the others tried to stop me. I answer her. You heard what I said, so I won't repeat myself, and I killed the Wasabi clan because they refused to leave when I told them lies. Besides, so what? They all look at me like I am crazy and I decide to continue. Yes, so what? They were a mafia clan, so you should know by now what they did for a living, and whatever you owed to that guy Jirocho can't make up for it, so suck it up, woman. We are shinobis, not some charity association. This seemed to piss her off even more, if that was possible. So you just go and kill them, just like that? Is that what you are? A monster? It seems to me that Kyuubi influenced you too much, boy. Now I pride myself on being able to keep my emotions in check, but to compare me to the monster that was indirectly responsible of my dead family and my suffering in that village, that really pissed me off. I explode in a wave of chakra, and before she could register I am on top of her, hitting her. My strength is inferior to hers, but it was enough to destroy a wall. She punched me too, trying to get away from me, but my bloodline healed whatever broken bones she breaks. We traded a few more blows, but after a while I stopped, leaving her face a bit bloody and letting my killer intent out as I speak. I don't care who do you think you are or what do you think you deserve, since you are not the only one who has lost family. She looks surprised, but I continue. But if you ever compare me to that filthy beast or hit Shizen-chan again, I'll kill you. Bikt. I could feel my killer intent getting higher, and Niji Lee and Tenten had fainted, so I took a few calming breaths and leave them to their devices. I couldn't help to see Shizen's little sad grin, like if this was the first time someone stood up for her. That made me decide there that I would make Shizen-chan happy no matter what. I think that's the first time I strived for something other than my ambition, and the moment my hatred for Tsunade's weakness grew to be more than an annoyance. Normal POV. After leaving the others, he went in the same direction that his clone. After 10 minutes of walking through a forest, he came to a stop in front of a gigantic house on a tree. This was the refuge of the Aim and Taki missing nin. He had occupied for the time since he needed a secret place, and more important, he needed to kill the others missing nins. He saw through the memory of his slave his Aim that there were 5 more of them. 3 useless genins, a chunin named Kirasame, and last Taki, former best Jounin Suian. They were to come in 3 days, so he was going to put his plans in motion faster. Getting closer, he saw his Aim with a blank look taking care of the girl. His Aim weighed out, his Aim obeyed without question. Naruto then kneeled before the girl and put his hand on the girl's forehead. His hand started glowing green, and after a moment she opened her eyes. You, said the green-haired girl with scared red eyes. Please don't hurt me. They hired me, and it was the only job someone had offered me in a long time. Please don't hurt me. Naruto looked at her with sadness, and at the same time pissed. How someone could hurt a child just for saving their lives. He sighed. Look, I am not going to hurt you. I want to recruit you. At this the girl looked at him with sadness and disappointment. After all, we Jinchurikis, or in my case former Jinchuriki, have to be together, right? That surprised the girl because she looked at him with so much hope that almost made Naruto cry. He knew what it was to be hated and ignored by all and treated like trash. But first, my name is Uzumaki Naruto. What is yours? He had a feeling that this girl was going to be a good ally. I am Swearin, a pleasure to meet you, she said, but you said you are a former Jinchuriki, right? How is that possible? Naruto sighed again. This was going to take time. After telling her about how he did it, she asked if she could do it for her. Naruto told her that he couldn't do the same with her since her seal is different. She cheered up a little when Naruto told her that he would find a way to free her from Shichibi, the 7-tailed demon. According to her, Shichibi gave her abilities over mud and sound. But for now he needed her for his plans. Look, Swearin, I need your help. He ignored the blush on her face and continued, my plans are big and I'll need you to act for me in some cases. Do you accept? The girl only nodded, making Naruto suspicious, so asked her more information about her life and why she was a missing nin. It turned out that she wasn't a real missing nin. She had been abandoned by her own village. Naruto wondered how stupid could Taki be to let go of such a promising ninja. It was no wonder they were extremely weak. After consoling her because of the girl remembering that moment, Naruto made his decision. Look, Swearin, my plan is to reform Yuzu Whirlpool, and I will need your help because at the moment I am a Konoha shinobi and I cannot leave yet. So do you accept? The girl looked at him like he was crazy. Why do you want to leave your village? I mean, surely they accepted you after getting rid of the Kyuubi, right? Naruto shook his head and explained. And there you have your answer. They accepted me because I got rid of the Kyuubi, gained a Kekkei Genkai and bring fame to them. But they quickly forgot what they made me go through. Besides, this village was the one my mother came from, so I preferred to honor the woman that gave birth to me than the man. That cursed me. She could only nod mutely. So this is what I want you to do. First, I am going to place a distortion seal of my own creation on you. I heard from some reports that an organization named Akatsuki is after people like us. The seal will mask your presence, and more importantly your tenant's presence. He wasn't going to mention that he was going to place a modified slave seal. Just this one. She can do whatever she wanted without harming Naruto's plans. I trust you know his aim at her growl. Naruto arched an eyebrow. She blushed and said she used to put me down, telling me that nobody wanted me and that I was ugly. Well, she is our slave now, he said, gesturing toward the woman on the door with a blank look. Swearin seemed surprised. Then you're either ugly nor useless. You're in fact very beautiful and useful to me. She was now as red as her eyes. Okay, here's the other part of the plan, he continued, and she focused. You are going to take this money, he said, handing her a scroll, and go in direction to Ozu Island. There you will find the acting Damia whose name is Kumiko, and give her this other scroll. This will prove that you are with me, he said, handing her another scroll, and lastly this, he said, handing her the third scroll. This are the blueprints and location of the village. You will protect this with everything you have, and when it's finished send me a message with Princess Kumiko. That way it will look simply as a thank you note from her. Got it all? This will count as a SSS class mission and make you one of the founders. She could only nod while gapping like a fish. She couldn't believe it. Come on. This was big, and they were only 11, Naruto, and 12, Swearin, years old. After composing a bit, she asked him why he chooses that location for the village, and why that island of all. To what he answered. First, there are a lot of mountains close to Todoroki Shrine, so it is easy to protect, and second, the weather conditions there will allows us to grow our own food and other interesting plants that I have on mine. She accepted, and after a moment they started with the sealing process. It didn't cross Naruto's mind that by placing that seal on her would send him directly to her mindscape, and in front of a pair of gigantic dark red eyes. The only visible things from Shichibi were the eyes and a lot of chains constricting on its darkness-surrounded body. I heard what you said to my vessel human, but tell me, do you really know what you did when you asked for those abilities and who these abilities belong? Asked Shichibi in what Naruto recognized as a female voice, but was confused as to what she was referring, so he answered. I asked for these abilities because they were necessary for my plans. But what do you mean by what I did and who these abilities belong? He asked, curious. Shichibi merely looked at him. I see, it seems that you don't know very well. I'll made you a deal at this. Naruto was cautious since this time he didn't have the best cards to negotiate with a demon. I am listening. You are to protect my vessel in case those people of Akatsuki you said come for her. I know that my abilities will not be enough to protect her since I sensed two fellow Bijus passing and they had more experience with their vessels. As a payment I'll give you more information about your Kekkei Genkai. Naruto sighed relieved, but he was curious about that information of his bloodline. Besides, he needed this girl, so he definitely was going to protect her. I accept, since I was going to protect her anyway. Good. Now leave, there's only so much I can tolerate a human. Naruto found himself being shoved out of Suiren's mind to find said girl sleeping. Naruto couldn't help but be happy and at the same time wonder about his bloodline. He would have to work on his plan first and wait. 3 days later, 5 shadows could be seen jumping from tree to tree. 4 of them had aimed Heidi, and the last the Taki Heidi, marking him as a missing nin. Do you think something happened to them, Suien? Asked one of the aim nins whose only visible feature was an eye, the rest being covered by clothes and his hair. PSE, I don't think so, but if they didn't answer our message then they are probably busy, so it's better to be prepared. For he stopped speaking when he looked behind and found the other 3 aim nins gone. Kirasame stopped. The other shinobi named Kirasame finally noted the absence of the others. What the? Whoever you are, come out, you bastard, we know you are there. His answer was a wind sword impaling him through the chest, right where his heart was situated. Kaze no Yaiba, sword of wind, dropping the dead body of Kirasame. Suien was able to see who was their attacker. It was a kid, blonde hair and dressed in black with a fan on his back. He knew who this was, Uzumaki, Naruto recently declared S-ranked missing nin and holder of the Kyuubi. But Suien wasn't about to back down. This was a kid who was in S-rank because of the Kyuubi. What can he do? I see, so you are the reason the others didn't answer. PSE, I guess they were too weak. At least you let that demon girl live, right? Why don't you join me and maybe I'll let both of you live, he said, displaying an arrogance that reminded Naruto of the Uchiha. This guy was seriously asking to be killed and Naruto wasn't about to deny that to him. Before Swearin could blink, Naruto was on him with a kick to his face that sends Swearin spiraling to the base of a tree and making him spat blood and look at Naruto with a furious expression. Stupid demon, Swearin spat. Now I am going to kill you, and when I am done with you I'll kill that other brat. Extending his hand, he called his technique Takigeki Ryumizukiri no Yaiba, hidden waterfall technique, sword of draining, predictable. Naruto knew his techniques from the information that Swearin provided him with, and still Naruto couldn't believe that this guy was the stronger jounin from Taki waterfall. He was sure that a couple of genin could take on this guy. Cough cannon cough. While evading the attacks from Suien, Naruto couldn't help but sigh disappointed. He was hoping to test other techniques that he had invented, but it would be overkill. He prided himself that he wasn't like Konoha shinobi. He attacked fast and quick. He had no need for giving some spectacular battle. Usually real shinobi battles were fast except if they were between high-skilled shinobis like S-ranked ones, and even then a little mistake, or a very well-informed opponent would, be his downfall. Experience was good, but if your enemy overwhelmed your enemy with ability, you are dead. So Naruto made sure to keep most of his abilities and weapons a secret, or simply try for his opponent to underestimate him. But this guy was pathetic. His speed was barely above average for chunin, and the only thing he had in favor was his chakra control. It was time to finish this. Catching Suion SN worst in mid-swing, he channeled wind chakra on his hand and hit Suion right on his neck. Yozuken, Whirlpool Fist. The hit made a bloody whirlpool mark and completely took out part of the missing knee neck. Pitiful, said Naruto softly while seeing the life leaving Suion's eyes, and to think a creature as pathetic as you could defeat me, fool. After made sure to burn the body, he went back to the hotel that he along with the others Konohanins were staying. He was happy to know that Shizen and Tsunade were going back to Konoha. He knew that he was going to be punished for his actions and then praised for making a better deal and bring fame to the village by being the youngest S-rank nin on the bingo book. Fools, he thought, with fame comes recognition, and then they will know where is the village. Whoever made him an S-rank nin was going to suffer a painful death. His plans were for his village and his members to be unrecognizable. He guessed that Suion could be a good night aim for future Yuzu. Suion or Shizen if he married her. He let a perverted chuckle while looking discreetly at Shizen and won himself a glare from Tenten that was looking at him. Deciding to take care from a last thing before going to Konoha, he wished a good night to everyone and went to his room. Right after entering, he sealed the room and made it soundproof jutsu. He used every privacy technique that he knew and then turned around to come face to face with two cute little owls. We came for our payment for lullabies. This is the most embarrassing moment in my life, thought Naruto with anime tears. He missed a pair of cute black eyes looking at him from his bathroom. Shizen POV. It had been 2 years since we came back to this village and nothing have changed. Well, not exactly, but the relationship between my master and me. It just seems like we are drifting apart more and more. Right after coming back, Tsunade-sama was made go dame. I thought that would make her stop drinking and gambling, and that it would made her the great woman my uncle fell in love again. I was wrong. If anything, it made her more annoying. Don't get me wrong, she makes her work, but she is still the same alcoholic woman, and what is more, she treats me worse. To the point that Naruto got in a fight with her, and now instead of her assistant I work full-time at the hospital. Naruto, I don't know what to do with him. In the beginning I just found him cute, in a brotherly way, like when I spied him singing. I can hear myself giggling, but he was just so cute and red when he found me. I am keeping that to myself, but he knows that he owe me. But right now, though I don't know how to feel, he thinks that I don't know about him persuading some of the guys that tried to hit on me. Hell, Gemma appeared half dead after being a little too forward. But no, I like it, and I am just starting to like him. I know that I shouldn't, after all I am several years older, but he had grown up and I can tell that I'll like him a lot more in the future. He had me worried since even I have noted some of his movements, if you can call them like that. I don't know what it is, either the council nor the Hokage, but we all know that he's up to something. Apparently he looks like he spends the days training and sleeping, of course when he's not speaking with me to get to know each other better, he said. I just blushed. I can't believe I blushed for a 13-years-old boy, a hot one, of course, babbed Shizen Bab. Anyway, while he looks like he's doing nothing, he gets these moments that make him look like a killer, then like a hero. For example, he went in a mission with that Kurenai. Calm, Shizen, calm. The mission was to help a former student of Kurenai whose name is Kurama Yakumo from the Kurama clan. She seemed to be the hope of the Genjutsu specialized clan who had fallen in decline with the years. She is this pale cute girl that seems to have her powers sealed. In the mission they found opposition from the clan to the point that these guys outright attacked Kurenai and Naruto. Of course this was the first problem. Naruto-kun, being his usual self, took the attack as an assassination attempt and killed some of them, and then killed another group when they attacked the girl herself. Naruto was in trouble because of this, of course, for killing fellow Konoha nin, but like always he managed to find a way to get out. How? He destroyed Yakumo's evil spirit representation and helped her and her clan to create secret jutsus that summoned these entities, and used them to fight, making the harm of the genjutsu actually real and making the clan to be renowned again, and what I think is more important, on his debt. This made him even more famous on the village, but like me, the Hokage and the council, although happy, were suspicious. So they asked Enko to interrogate him since Inoichi cannot enter his head, and Ibiki hated him for killing his brother. A sentiment Naruto shared. In the end he was let free since nothing was proven. But I can't help but think that something big is going to happen, and I think that for once I'll be part of it. Now though, Naruto told me to go to his house, so that's where I am going. I found that he liked plants, so I am going to give him a chakra tree seed. I hope that he likes it. It took me a while to get it. Naruto POV. Well, it looks like someone has finally suspected something. I will have to be more careful with my moves, and it's probably time that I tell Shizen-chan about my plan. I know that is just wishful thinking that she would love me, and even more that she would support me. I can't help it. In these 2 years I have fallen in love with her. I know what everyone would think of this, that I am too young to know and blah blah blah, but I know that what I feel for her I didn't felt it for Kurenai, for who I had a little crush that she crushed ironically when she kissed in front of me to some guy named Sarutobi Asuma. I think that's the old man's son. Neither had I felt the same when I lost my virginity. Of course it may be that I lost it to Enko after I destroyed her curse seal. I was happy. Enko was too, with my stamina. Of course all of this is a secret. But in the end it doesn't matter, I am in love with Shizun-chan and there is nothing I can do. I have prepared mentally to tell her everything, and I have a jutsu that will make her forget in case that she doesn't accept, even if I don't want to think about it. She is the only one to ever make me feel like this. When I am with her I feel none of my usual negative emotions, either my apathy. I just feel calm, loved and happy, and I feel that with her at my side I can do anything. She even managed to calm me after I met Hataki's team. Yes, Hataki's team. In the end I did like Kurenai did before her team and took an apprentice. Something that neither Hataki nor Sarutobi could stop me and that the council wanted me to do, except that they wanted the Uchiha as my apprentice. The downside would be that we have to do some missions together. My apprentice's name is Ami. Her complete name is no other than Mitarashi Ami. She is Anko's little sister. I remember that she used to bully that idiot Harino, but what not everyone knows is that she used to do it to avoid being bullied herself, since her big sister is almost as hated as I used to be. She is also the reason that Anko is a part of my little group, Ami included. I am teaching her since she wants to be a jutsu creator herself. She is going to be like her sister, a natural beauty. As for my plans, they had come along nicely through the years. Swearin had made her work good. I met her a year ago, and she told me the village in the end was a little bigger than Konoha and that she placed my compound in the mountain that I instructed her. Basically is the top of the mountain where there is a lake with a piece of land on the middle. I made a blood clone and sent it with her. I placed my compound with the little lake as a part of it. After all, my clan was a water-based one. I decided to leave the little piece of land in the middle for something special. I also took the opportunity to take all my sealed possessions like my family scrolls and my filthy father ones and placed them on the house and protected the compound with one of my finest creation. Kekai Yukio Toride, Life Fortress, basically a fuinjutsu that creates a barrier around a certain area that is connected literally to my life. In other words, if I am alive you can't enter my compound. I made a larger version of it with the village, but it required a lot of chakra, so I made it along with Swearin and her bijou. It would provide her with some protection against Akatsuki. I placed the village in Spring Country in the end. It's close to the island and better situated strategically. I can hear someone coming in my apartment direction. It must be Shizun-chan. I can only hope to convince her. Normal POV. Shizun was approaching Naruto's apartment, and she was with every step becoming more nervous. That sensation that she felt that something was going to happen was stronger than ever. She was about to knock when the door opened and Naruto's head came out with a full blush on his face. Hey Shizun-chan. As beautiful as always, please come in. Shizun blushed but managed to respond. Hello there Naruto-kun, thanks for the invitation. After closing the door they went inside. After 2 years his new apartment was very little, since he only needed the basic. The council wanted him to get a compound and use the Clan Restoration Act, for which his fan club was more than willing, but he stayed the same. 3 simple rooms, his bedroom, his bathroom and the kitchen with a table and 4 seats. He guided Shizun toward the kitchen. Here Naruto-kun, since you told me that you liked plants I bring you this. I hope you like it. With that Shizun took out the seed that was placed in a little box. Naruto knew what it was since it was his favorite plant, the chakra tree. Looking at it only made Naruto's decision more painful, so he decided just in case to take a good memory of her. Instead of taking the seed, he took Shizun's hand with the seed on it and said, "Thank you Shizu-chan." She blushed. But what if we make this gift special? At her blushing but questioning face he said, I want for both to push chakra on the seed so that way the tree will be like a bond between us Shizun-chan. She accepted, so they both started pushing chakra on the seed, and to their astonishment the seed started changing from a deep green color to a black with little yellow stripes on it. He knew now what he was going to plant in the middle of his lake. After a few seconds they stopped and Naruto pocketed his most valued possession, taking Shizun's other hand and kissing it, which made her blush even more. He guided her to a chair. He activated his house security seals and seeing her face he started speaking. Look Shizun-chan, I called you here because I wanted for you to know everything about me. At her surprised face he continued, I am sure you noted my dealings like everyone else. She nodded. Well, I wanted to tell you because I don't want to hide anything from you. So he told her. He told her of everything. From his cruel life to this point. He told her of his plans, of course without telling her of his supporters. To say that she was surprised was like saying he liked ramen. By the end she was just gapping. After a moment she recomposed and managed to speak. Naruto-kun, I understand your dream, since it was your mother village, but why are you telling me this? At this Naruto got closer to her and started caressing her cheek, making her blush. Because Shizun-chan, I want for you to be at my side when I go. I want you to come with me, since without you it wouldn't be the same. She just couldn't believe it. I don't understand. She was blushing and she almost couldn't speak from the impression. It's simple Shizun-chan, I love you and I don't want to be away from you. And he kissed her. He kissed her with as much love as he could. He kissed her with all the love he had been denied all his life. He felt her stiffen at first, but she soon relaxed and started kissing him back. He could say that this was the best moment of his life. He was kissing the woman he loved. After separating she looked at him with tears on her eyes. Naruto-kun, I just don't know, I love you but my age and then is your proposition, I just can't decide right now. At this he felt a little bad but he persisted. He gave her a little kiss and answered, "Age means nothing and I always can wait until you feel comfortable enough around me." She gave a teary smile that soon disappeared when she remembered about the other part. "As for the leaving the village thing, I hope that you come with me, but I'll give you time." He had placed a memory seal on her hand just in case. "I am going to be in a mission tomorrow to assist Team Moron." Team Moron was Team 7. The fools had gotten from a C-rank mission to an A-ranked one. At the mention of the team, Shizen giggled. "I hope that you can answer to me when I come back, okay? If not, I'll give you a little more time?" She nodded. Naruto got up and hugged her. "It's late, why don't you stay here for the night?" At her blushing cute little nod, he took her on his arms and went to the bedroom. They passed the night hugging and kissing each other. The next day found Team 8 and Team 10 eyeing Naruto weirdly. He had a little stupid smile that wouldn't come out of his face. The girls and Asuma could tell that something related to a girl happened to him. That's why Asuma was giggling pervertly, and the girls were giving him death glares. "Okay team, I guess when Naruto finished daydreaming we can go help Team 7, said Kurenai, making Naruto snap out of his dream and put his typical I don't give a shit face, making everyone else sweat drop. "I am ready. We can go whenever you are," Naruto said a little coldly. After Hitaki's message, the council decided that this was a perfect opportunity to test him to become a full jounin. Of course Naruto was suspicious. Why trust him this, the assassination of Gato to him? It was obvious after his little interrogation that they didn't trust him, and Gato being easy money, that just mean that they would have him under watch. He would have to be careful. The presence of Momochi Zabuza, his apprentice, and Kurisuke Raiga, someone Naruto had an encounter in the past and had no doubt that Raiga will want revenge, was troublesome. Now that he was older and had a bit more of experience, he knew that by himself he would be hard-pressed with these two. He no longer overestimated his skills. He could win of course, but it would cost him. Individually they were hardly worth of his time. But as a team, two former sword men were dangerous. "So we are going to save the Uchiha's ass, huh? We are not going to lose to you, Naruto. We are going to get stronger, right, Akamaru?" The little dog barked. Naruto merely ignored him, making him try to attack him, and Shino to hold him back. "Troublesome, I get why we are going, but what about you?" Naruto demanded to know Shikamaru with his usual lazy tone. "That's not any of your business, just do your mission and try to shut up," answered an annoyed Naruto. "Hey," they interrupted him when he was thinking of his Shizen-chan warm body, sweet smell, delicious lips. "Stop. He would have time for that later." "Hey, no need to snap," said Yellow Banshee, Yamanaka Ino if Naruto remembered well. "Whatever, time to go everyone," said Asuma. With that they all jumped in direction to wave. While Naruto, Team 8 and Team 10 were in their way to wave, Shizen was on the Hokage tower, thinking of the past night. She was blushing, but she was also worried. After all, you just don't leave the village, just like that. She was on her way to the Hokage office when she heard the voice of Sarutobi. "Are you sure that you're doing the correct thing, Tsunade? You have enough responsibilities already," said the former Hokage. An hour ago his former teammates had come into the office asking for Tsunade to take on another apprentice, and he didn't know that this was a good idea. He had a bad feeling about this. Yes, this girl Harino Sakura looks like she could be good, and she already have perfect chakra control, so I am sure that she will be able to learn my strength and carry my summoning contract. That hurt Shizen. At the beginning of her apprenticeship Tsunade had been a good teacher, but after leaving Konoha she had to learn everything by herself, and Tsunade had never even tried to teach her things like her strength, or summoning. "But what about Shizen?" asked Sarutobi. He regretted many things in life, and while he instructed his Genin team he used to have Orochimaru as a favorite, and that didn't turn especially good. He didn't want for Tsunade to commit the same mistake. "I am sure that she won't mind, she is already an excellent medic," said Kohara. At Tsunade's nod they continued their discussion, but Shizen couldn't hear any more, and with tears on her eyes she went in direction to Naruto's apartment. Last night he had given her a key. It was the only place right now that she felt safe and loved. She was going to wait for him and think her answer, even if she probably had one already. Naruto meanwhile was becoming more and more annoyed. The Yellow Banshee wouldn't shut up and the Mutt wouldn't stop trying to fight him so that he could prove that he was stronger. Fool, like if he could ever touch him in a real fight. Trying to ignore the fools, he started to think about why Raiga hated him. It was rather silly on his opinion. He was on his way back to his village with the first two clans that had agreed to join him, or that he accepted for that matter, since in one of his missions he tried to make a clan join him, just to discover that they were a clan of psychos who adored some kind of evil god called Jashin. Their techniques were strong, since they couldn't die, but their minds weren't. It only took Naruto to separate their limbs and then destroy their minds with a few ninjutsu based on the Yamanaka techniques. Of course it almost cost him his life. Anyway, he managed to convince two clans. Mostly because one was a former Yuzugikure clan and the other was a friend of the head of the first clan. The second clan were descendants of the first Yambi Jinchuriki, the Maguma clan, which specialized in Utun, magma, techniques and kenjutsu. According to them they refused the actual Yambi Jinchuriki in respect to their friend clan, because the new Jinchuriki was from IWA. The former Yuzu clan was the Kuzabana clan and their special ability was their Dijitsu, the Russian Sengen, red-looking eye, and the reason that Raiga hated him. The eyes had not only the same abilities that the Byakugan, but was able to confuse this one as well, along with a few other abilities. The problem was that with Raiga was traveling a lost kid from the clan. Needless to say Raiga had to run, Since Naruto wasn't the only that hated Mist, the Kusabana clan hated Kiri even more. Of course getting them to join wasn't easy, but Naruto's plan of giving prized weapons worked, that and money. Both clans were clearly impressed with the weapons and accepted. Now tough he was thinking in how to kill Gato and seize his fortune without Konoha finding about it. And what is more, he had no intention of leaving Zabuza or Raiga alive. He hated Kiri with a passion and even more the swordsmen since they were instrumental on Yuzu's downfall. But first he thought while hitting Kiba's head to everyone else's amusement, I had to find a way for my actions go undetected. He was jumping from tree to tree. His objective was Gato's place. It had been 3 days since they arrived at Wave and Naruto was going to end his mission, kill Gato. He had previously killed a few of Danzo's little NEA and BU. He supposed that the crippled bastard wanted to take Gato's money after Naruto was done. Sorry fool, thought Naruto with glee, that money will help my future village. He needed the money since he was planning to change the village's location a bit. He was made aware of the problem by a message from Swearin. According to it, she had spied the daimyo Keitaro having a few secrets conversations with the fire daimyo. He didn't want to believe it at first, but in the end he just accepted that he had been betrayed and not in a good moment. He had planned to recruit the last founder clan of former Whirlpool. He had to change his plans once. One of the little clans that he had recruited, little before the Maguma and Kusabana, thought that it would be smart to defy his authority while he was away by contacting IWA. Needless to say that they paid the price with their lives. Now Keitaro had been foolish enough to betray him. He was now going to make Nagi and Ozu Island part of Spring Country. Since both islands and the country were connected by a good number of little islands, he already had finished the negotiations with Princess Yuki, and she accepted the village as part of Spring, or Snow, Country. It also helped that Swearin and he had killed Dotu and his minions in a rather gruesome way and were considered heroes. He could only hope that Swearin and the others had sealed the village started with the construction of houses and compounds with his instructions. It had taken him a lot of time, but with the blueprints he provided them, there should be no problem. Now though he was going to make sure to take Gato's properties, especially his ships. To think that idiotic child thought that Gato was invincible. Flashback. After a day of travel they have arrived at the location given by Kakashi. Walking up to the door, Kurenai called. The door was opened by Team 7 resident fangirl. After entering the house and introduced themselves to Tsunami and Tazuna, Kakashi started speaking. Yo, I would have expected Sandame to send A and BU seeing that there are 2 former swordsmen of Kiri here. Yeah I know, but right now there was no one available except us, said Asuma. By the way, how did you manage to escape them? Oh well, it helped that after I beat Zabuza a little they started fighting each other and plain forgot about us, he answered, making the others sweat drop. What are you doing here, Namikaze? Asked Sasuke, who had been glaring at him since he entered the house, that judging by the reaction of everyone else, their respective clans had told them about it. He would make sure to have a little conversation with the Hokage. I am here because this is a mission, Uchiha. I trust that you know what that means, Naruto answered coldly, and if you value your head you will remember that my name is Uzumaki. Naruto, not Namikaze, understood Genin? He said with a steel look and remarking the last word, making the Uchiha grit his teeth but nod. Kakashi, seeing the tension, intervened. No, why don't we introduce each other, that way we will know who we are working with better. After agreeing, Kurenai decided to go first. Okay, my name is Yuhi Kurenai. I like novels, genjutsu and my friends. My dislikes are people who break my genjutsus. Ika books, glares at Kakashi, and bad people. My dream is to be recognized as the best genjutsu user in the world. Naruto internally snorted. Although he recognized genjutsu as the one of the most lethal shinobi branch along with sealing, he had many doubts about Kurenai's dream. He had followed her career after meeting her, and it seemed that after making Jounin with that original genjutsu of hers she had become complacent, and hadn't tried to improve more. She still knew that the next level in genjutsu mastery is making genjutsu without hand seals and later with just the eyes, like a master of the Sharingan could do. Yet she was happy to continue doing so with hand seals. I guess that I am next after all, ladies first, said Ino after glaring at Sakura for laughing. My name is Yamanaka Ino. My likes are flowers, my family and Sasuke-kun. The others just rolled their eyes while Sakura glared at her. My dislikes are forehead Sakura and the others girl competing for my Sasuke-kun. Naruto was amused. He could see that the Uchiha had developed a tick. My dream is, she giggles while looking at Sasuke. What a waste of time, Naruto thought. Me next, my name is Harino Sakura. My likes are reading and Sasuke-kun. My dislikes are Ino Pig and Naruto, she squeaked when said person glared at her, while the other chuckled. My dream is, she looks at Sasuke blushing. Naruto thought that if the future of Konoha was in these people's hands they were magnificently fucked. He was so happy. Okay, my name is Mitarashi Ami, temporary member of Team 7, she said looking at the members of Team 7. The other girls glared at her. Ino and Sakura because of their past, and Hinata because she was close to him. They stopped when Naruto directed a good glare at each of them. My likes are my growing family, and my only sensei. Naruto again making clear that she was no part of Team 7. My dislikes are fangirls, lazy idiots, and this team. At this, Naruto puffed his chest. He couldn't help it, he was proud. The others could only sweat drop at seeing him like this while Team 7 sulked. My dream is to surpass Tsunade of the Sannin. After she finished, everyone looked at Hinata, who squeaked and introduced herself. My name is Hyuga Hinata. I like flowers and making medicines. I dislike bad people. My dream is to be a good head for my clan and to be. She finished there, shooting Naruto a quick look and the blushing and looking at the floor. He was sorry for the girl, but she couldn't hope to compete with Shizen-chan right now. Yeah, and now is our turn, isn't it? Akamaru just grate them up. My name is Inuzuka Kiba. I like my friend here Akamaru. My family and hot babes typical. My dislikes are people who hurt animals and Naruto, he said, glaring at Naruto, who much to everyone's amusement was ignoring him. My dreams is to be the strongest hunter nin, and to defeat Naruto. That's good, because that's what's always going to be a dream, said the Uchiha. Seeing that they were about to get in a fight, Asuma was quick to introduce himself. My name is Sarutobi Asuma. My likes include smoking. A certain person at this he shoot Kurenai a look that she shared. She gave Naruto one after it. He didn't know what that meant. He guessed that she thought that he still liked her. Oh well. And futon manipulation, he said, looking at Naruto. Naruto merely returned an impassive look. My dislikes are traitors and arrogant people, and my dream is to have a peaceful live and create a family. The Uchiha that was interested for once asked what futon manipulation was. He was answered by Kakashi that he would learn later. Sasuke wasn't happy and he was going to ask to someone later who would answer him honestly, in this case Naruto. After introducing everyone else, I am tired, they were about to go to sleep when a little child entered the room, and despite his grandfather and mother's protests, who was hot, Naruto noted, he started an emo rant about how Gato was invincible, and how they were going to die. That just made Naruto glare at him with a little of killer intent. After the kid leave the room scared, Naruto went in direction to the door. Seeing this, Kakashi spoke. Naruto, where are you going? Aren't you a bit tired? Unlike them, I am not here to protect the old man, I have another mission. And Kakashi, this time Naruto turned so that everyone could see his face. It was pure hate. We will have a little talk about how you put in danger my student when I get back, are we clear? Kakashi could only nod, he was scared. And if everyone else's faces were any indication, they were too. Naruto's face would have made Kyuubi proud. With that he turned, leaving a bunch of shocked people except Ami, who had a completely smug expression. And flashback, he slowed down his pace. He could see Gato's complex from his position. Since the midget wasn't surrounded by ninjas, he guessed that his Yuma, ghost, technique wasn't necessary. He would only need the technique from which he created or evolved the Yuma, Eitai Kentai, nature combination. Think of Zetsu technique, being this one the evolved form of the Shinjuzanshu. Without using hand seals, something that he still couldn't do with the Yuma one, he melted with the floor. After disabling everyone on his way, he entered on the chamber where Gato was talking with some black-haired girl with brown eyes. His eyes narrowed, and after making sure with that no one would hear him, he made his presence known by breaking one of his samurai bodyguard's neck. The moment that the samurai fell to the floor, death Gato, the girl and the last bodyguard turned to him. Pathetic, how little shit like you have made it this far in life is really beyond me, said Naruto, leaking enough killing intent to make it known that he was no little child. How the hell did you get here? Where are my guards? Asked Gato with wide eyes. Is okay, Gato-sama, said the last bodyguard. I'll take care of this kid, said the last bodyguard, a shirtless guy with a stupid face and an arrogant grin. His boasting came to an end when a kunai hit his head. By now Gato was trembling, and surprisingly the girl was merely looking at him with curiosity. Seeing this, Naruto examined her a bit closer, and found her suppressing her chakra quite well. You are a shinobi, aren't you? He asked her. How did you know, and what is it to you? I can feel you trying to suppress your chakra. I can only guess that you're Zabuza's little accomplice, aren't you? The moment he said that, the girl was in high alert, and took a defensive stand with Saban in hand. Relax, I'll let you go, but know this. I'll kill Zabuza and his little friend Raiga, and if you interfere I'll kill you too. The girl's eyes narrowed. I won't let you, even if that costs my life. Wind Sage, he wasn't surprised that she knew that, even if it still pissed him to no end that he was that famous when what he needed the most was discretion. Then be prepared, because it will. Now leave. I will deal with you when the time comes. The girl, taking the opportunity to escape the S-ranked shinobi, used Shunshin to get out of the room. Turning to Gato, he saw that the little man was trying to open the door of his office. It's useless, it won't open. Now why don't we talk about business? At the word business, Gato turned to Naruto with a smile, thinking that he was going to buy his way out of this one. Of course, please, what can I do for you? One of your little guards told me before he died that you wanted to create your own village, or as he said, your own empire, and that all your resources were located here. Is that true? Of course, is safely behind a safe to which only I know his code, thinking that will stop him from being robbed. Good, that's everything I need to know. With that he went to the door, much to Gato's confusion. He had his answer when Naruto spoke. Swearin, I trust you heard everything right? In the room entered a green-haired girl, with red eyes and tan skin. Hi Naruto-sama, I'll make sure that he talks. Gato's scream could be heard in the entire island, ashamed that the only persons alive were Naruto and Swearin. He couldn't believe this shit. After killing Gato and taking over his fortune, which they found that he had jutsu scrolls and even a summoning contract besides the money, they called for people from his village. Damn, that sounded good, his village, so that they could take the ships and the money to the village. Now though he was listening Kakashi instructing the three teams about the tree walking exercise, something his apprentice already knew. Hell, she already knew the water walking. Interrupting Kakashi, he turned to his student. Ami, come, we are leaving. Hi Naruto-sensei. Wait Naruto, she doesn't have to go. Besides, the reason we are training together is because we were planning to spar later, said Kakashi, making it sound more like an order than a suggestion. Turning to Ami, Naruto said, Ami, I want you to start the second exercise of nature manipulation I told you about. I'll be there shortly after. Nodding, Naruto turned to Kakashi and the others whose eyes were wide. As you can see, I have a student to teach, so if you will forgive us. It was clear that it was merely for being polite because he was already walking on Ami's direction. Wait, Naruto, what about the spar? We had already planned who would be fighting who, said Kurenai. She didn't want to admit it, but she was planning to use Ami, so that Hinata could defeat her, since she was probably the only one to whom she has taken a dislike, and it would help her confidence. Naruto was no imbecile, and he could tell by the way Kurenai was sneaking glances at Hinata. He had no intention to let his apprentice to be used as some experiment, and she had no idea of what Hinata could really do. Then you will have to find someone else, in case you people forgot. Ami is my apprentice, and I will decide who her instructor is, not you, not Kakashi, not anyone. Are we clear? Not even waiting for an answer, he turned around and went in the same direction as his student to help her with her affinity. He missed the look that the Uchiha was sending him, clearly indicating that he would talk with him later. The same could be said by Kakashi. Finally, it was the day that Kakashi predicted that Zabuza would appear. It was made known when a mist covered the bridge, and from it came out Zabuza, Raiga, and 8 other figures, some of which looked like jounins. Kakashi was about to give orders when Naruto interrupted him. I'll be taking Zabuza and Raiga. You can do whatever you want with the others. The leaf shinobis looked at him like he was crazy. Are you crazy or what, Naruto? Those are 2 of the former swordsmen, said Kurenai, even if she was a little relieved that she wasn't going to be fighting them. I agree, Naruto. You are strong, but the 2 of them are too strong even for you, said Kakashi. You should listen to your teacher's brat. You have no chance. Besides, you don't even look like a ninja to me, said Zabuza. Naruto thought that not even the binds on his face could cover his big mouth. Raiga was the one who answered. Zabuza, you big-mouthed imbecile. Focus here. The so-called brat is an S-ranked shinobi. At this, everyone present were wide-eyed. Sasuke was looking at Naruto with a mixture of jealousy, anger, and all. Just for that little comment, said Naruto, leaking more and more killing intent with each word. You'll be the first one to die. Taking out a few shuriken, he throws them at Zabuza extremely fast and with a bit of wind chakra. Zabuza taking out his zanbatsu, he blocked half of them, but before the others could hurt him, they were blocked by Raiga. Unfazed by this, Raiga hadn't finished blocking all the shuriken when Naruto used the kawarini and delivered an incredibly strong punch at Zabuza's face. Everyone who heard the hit sound winced. That was definitely a broken jaw. With this move, the fight between the 2 groups started. Naruto had taken his fight with Zabuza and Raiga to the other end of the bridge, while letting the others to fight the rest of missing neens. After steadying himself, Zabuza looked up to see Raiga beside him and Naruto taking out a big blue scroll with the words Yuzu Okeshi, Whirlpool Revenge. See this scroll, scum? Snarled Naruto. Opening the scroll, both swordsmen could see 8 slots, 7 with the kanji for sword and the last for kage. Understanding finally came to them. I see by your looks that you finally know the meaning of this. That's right. I made this scroll as a prize of my revenge against Kiri for what you monsters did with former Whirlpool. So prepare yourselves. Ha ha ha, so you think that you can actually take us? Said Zabuza arrogantly. Raiga stayed quiet, tough. He knew what Naruto was capable of from their last encounter. Besides, Kiri wasn't the only involved nation. He continued in a mocking tone. Naruto was perfectly aware of which nations were involved in Yuzu's destruction. He had plans for each of them in case they were arrogant enough to attack again. Besides, he already had some payback plan for each of them. I am perfectly aware of that. But that won't change the fact that you 2 will die here today. Enough talking. The killing intent from the 3 fighters were immense. Placing the scroll on the floor, Naruto bit his thumb, making the other 2 tense. Akuchio's scream. Later, a horned owl the size of a man stood beside him. Karen, I need for you to cover me. You know what to do. At her nod, Naruto dashed in Zabuza's direction with incredible speed. Seeing this, Zabuza formed seals and a shout. Later, mist started surrounding them. Naruto, almost berating himself for rushing, waited for them to make a move. A slash to the back was his answer. Turning faster that the attacker could see, Zabuza received a strong kick to the face. But it was useless since it turned out to be a water clone. The distraction costed him, since he received another slash, this one worse, because it was charged with right-hand chakra. This seemed to piss Naruto a lot, because after the cuts healed within seconds, he let out a wind chakra wave that dispersed the mist. He didn't want to be known that he could use high-level water ninjutsu. When the mist cleared, surrounding him stood 5 Zabuzas and Raiga. Taking this fight more seriously, he slashed at the clones, leaving only 1 Zabuza. Immediately after, he had to duck since Raiga let out a giant lightning wave. Ducking under it, he lashed out with a kick that sent Raiga in his summoned direction. Unfortunately for him, Karen decided to continue the attack and a concentrated wind ball hit Raiga on his back. Leaving his summon to deal with Raiga for now, he turned to Zabuza in time to see a water dragon going straight to him. Jumping over it, he took out his fan and sends a kamaitachi to Zabuza. This one, as predicted, covered himself with his sword. Naruto immediately kicked him on his stomach, making him spat blood and making him let go of his sword. Continuing with his assault, he let out a kick to the face and a knee to the belly. Zabuza, although in no good condition, tried as good as he could to cover himself. But the moment that he managed to land a hit, the Naruto fighting him exploded, taking with him one of Zabuza's arm and leaving him with severe burns, making his screams to be heard by everyone on the bridge. Raiga, seeing that his partner was in trouble, rushed to his side, only to feel a fist impact with his face. After righting himself, he was able to see that now there were 2 Narutos. He knew what this technique was. It was invented by the Uzumaki clan to help with their godly water affinity. Although Konoha prided themselves like the idiots they are in the Nidaime mastery over Swait and Element, he knew that there were others with the same level, if not higher. Example of this being Kisame or the former Uzumaki clan. But now seeing this he knew that Zabuza was fucked, and if he didn't escape he would follow. The clone clearly has the same abilities that the original, and even if he killed this one, the original would kill him. Deciding to pull his better attack, he started spinning surrounding himself with lightning. Immediately after a lightning dragon destroyed the clone and went in Naruto's direction. Taking his clone's memories, Naruto turned making hand seals. A moment later he let out an Kazakiri, wind cutter, that managed to land in the middle of the dragon sending Raiga again in his summon direction. Seeing his summon deal with Raiga he turned to Zabuza to find him with his sword in his remaining arm, panting and losing a lot of blood. Getting tired of the fight Naruto throw him a few shuriken with wind chakra, half of them managing to hit Zabuza, eliciting another scream. Rushing behind the shuriken, he prepared his technique, the Yuzuken, Whirlpool fist, and landed the hit where Zabuza's lungs should be. Seeing that he was finished Zabuza fell to the floor gasping for as much air as he could. He managed a few words tough. Ha ha, it seems that you win, brat. I underestimated you, said between breaths. Don't kid yourself, you're weak, plain and simple, and now you're going to die. I see, please tell Haku to be happy and that she was the daughter that I never had, he said as a last wish. You know, I was reading my mother's journal and in it said that you didn't care for the dying wish of any of your victims. So I think that I will extend you the same courtesy. With that Zabuza received another wind-charged fist on his horror-contorted face before he died. Naruto didn't have time to think about it, since he had to jump out of the way of a lightning-charged sword. It seemed that Raiga had managed to distract his summon enough to attack him. Seeing his former comrade death he turned to see Naruto's smirking face, driving him beyond mad. First Rimuru, and now Zabuza. I will kill you. His face was the definition of rage. Oh, now you're feeling what those people whose familiars you killed for your supposed funerals felt. What, you don't like it? Don't worry, you will be joining him soon, Naruto said with a malicious smile. This seemed to further piss of Raiga because he charged with such utter rage that it looked that he was wielding two thunders instead of swords. Evading his attempts to cut him, Naruto started making hand seals. Finishing he announced his jutsu, Futon Atsugai, something like air pressure. Raiga, who was charging blindly, received the full blast, sending him crashing to a tree at the end of the bridge, and making him lose his leg and his right arm. Walking up to him, a full of healing cuts, Naruto was about to finish the job when Raiga said his last words. We will be waiting for you when you die, bastard. Maybe I'll just be sure to destroy you again when I die. With that Raiga died, letting go of his sword. After dismissing his summon, he sealed both swordsmen's weapons on the scroll on their respective seals. While he walked in direction to the others he let out a dark smirk to grace his face while he said under his breath, 2 down, 6 to go. It had been a few days since the fight in the bridge. In the end the only survivor from the enemy group had been that girl, Haku. It had taken Ami with the help of his summon to stop him from killing her. He knew that he needed help to control his homicidal tendencies related to Kiri and IWA, but he couldn't help it. As for the very girl, she wasn't especially happy either. At first she needed to be stopped by Kurenai from killing herself. After she got over it, the hate-filled glares that she gave Naruto were nothing to sneeze at. Those usually stopped when Naruto had to be talked out of just eliminating her. He wanted to kill her especially for her Kekkei Genkai. He didn't want Konoha to get their hands on her. The village could preach all they want about unity and good feelings between shinobis, but he knew that at the very opportunity they would use her, and while he didn't care about her, he wasn't about to hand them such a weapon, just like that. Now though he was in the forest trying to meditate and giving the final touch to his poison techniques. It had taken him a while, but he had managed to cover his whole body with it. After this he was planning to work on ice manipulation. Contrary to popular belief, those bloodlines, like the Mokuton or that girl's Hayaton, were merely a genetic shortcut, except for the special chakra used with the Mokuton, which was exclusive to the Shodaime, or someone with his genetic code. Anyone can use element combination after years of work. Those that knew simply choose not to. Such a case is the Sandaime Hokage who preferred to master the elements individually. He suddenly twitched and throws a kunai to a nearby bush. Out of it came out no other than Uchiha Sasuke. That was another one. The guy, instead of being his usual annoying self about getting power, had been looking oddly at him these days. How? He simply asked. Excuse me? Naruto said coldly. How you got so much power? Why you, I am an Uchiha, yet you have shown power I've only seen in him. So how? I saw how that girl used some kind of advanced Doton Jutsu. I need that power. Naruto could see that Sasuke was getting worked out. Training, as simple as that. Do you really expect me to believe that? I had been training for longer time and I still don't have enough power. It seemed to take a lot of him to admit that. Then train harder. I heard your Sharingan activated. You have a teacher, so go and train. He only teach me useless things. I need power fast. Train me, he asked, or more like he demanded. No. What? Why not? I am an Uchiha. Why would you prefer to teach a nobody before me? Let me guess. Your idea for training was for me to use a lot of jutsus and you copying them. I am right? At this the Uchiha let a satisfied smirk grace his face, before it vanished when Naruto spoke again. I won't train you. I already have an apprentice and she holds too much promise for me to let her go and dedicate my time to teach some fool that only wants power the easy way. Now leave me alone. This time he spoke coldly and letting a bit of killing intent to leak out. The Uchiha simply turned around and went in direction to the house, not before leaving a parting comment. You will regret this, Uzumaki. Mark my words. Naruto simply ignored him and waited for him to get out of the clearing. After making sure that no one was in sight or spying on him, he spoke aloud for his visitor. Come out, Hinata. I hope you enjoyed the conversation. From behind a tree came out Hinata with a healthy blush and stuttering. And Naruto-kun, I am sorry, I didn't want to overhear your CC conversation. At this, Naruto looked at her ashamed face. Drop the act, we're alone here, he barked. Immediately Hinata's facial expression changed from a timid little girl to one full of confidence and amusement. Okay, no need to be like that, Naruto-kun, she said in what she hoped was a sexy voice. That stopped when Naruto directed a sharp glance at her, sorry, this time a little timidly, resembling her former self, or in this case her act. Many didn't know it, but Naruto had recruited her in their early days in the academy. It had been easy. Hinata's life since her mother's death had not been a pleasant one. When she met Naruto, she found solace in the fact that someone cared what happened to her. Although a psycho, she found that to be his way of protecting himself and those he cared about, show no weakness. Probably the reason that Shizen liked him. Of course, had she voiced her thoughts, Naruto would have killed her. For a year, the time that Naruto went to the academy, and when he still had the Kyuubi, he often passed his time helping her and encouraging her to go with him. By the time he left the academy, many things changed. She discovered that her mother had not died of natural causes. It had been her very clan, who decided that she had been useful enough. Usually the clan had married another Hyuga to keep the bloodline pure, but in her mother's case, she was not. Her mother had been a powerful shinobi from the Senju clan who specialized in genjutsu. She found that the clan's council with her father's approval killed her mother because according to them, she had outlived her usefulness. Since then, she pledged herself completely to Naruto and his plans, and had stayed playing the little timid and weak Hinata to spy and recruit for him. She was just waiting to be strong enough to rip apart Hayashi. The man not only had the audacity to kill her mother while she was weak, but he also put that delusional bitch of Kurenai to play the role of her as a way of apologize. She would be sure to make his death painfully slow. Now thought she had to update Naruto about her progress. Sighing, Naruto just said, please just give me a report before one of those idiots come and try to find about our conversation. Nodding, and after Naruto put some kind of wind barrier, she started. Okay, as of now, only half of the branch family is sure to follow you, especially if you take off those seals and the jutsu you spoke about is true. As for the council, I saw by reading their lips that Hayashi was very agitated after a meeting with the village council. It seems that they are suspicious about you and your behavior, and if I am not wrong, it seems that they are making plans in case you betray the village. I see, and those plans would be, in case you go resist, the clan heads are to engage you in combat and subdue you. Of course the fact that you took out 2 former swordsmen is going to make them more restless. Naruto, I know that you're strong, but please be careful. Besides, don't you think we should move sooner? This time she asked, a little worried. Naruto though simply smiled. That would only alert them and destroy years of careful planning. No, we move according to schedule. They will concentrate on me, making that their fatal mistake. Now tell me, did you manage to get what I asked of you? Putting her preoccupation to rest, after all she trusted Naruto, she took out a dark blue notebook with a seal on it. Here, it took me a while to get it out of the house, but Hayashi was so sure that his seals cannot fail that he forgot about certain seal master. Naruto smirked. May I ask why do you needed that so much? At this, Naruto looked seriously at her, and answered anyway. This is the famous Hokage book. At her questioning glance he continued, this is where the previous Hokages put down the most sensible information, be it a beyond dangerous jutsu to a mission so secret that only them and a select few know about. It's simply a book full of the dirty secrets from the village. Hinata's face was full of awe, but she snapped out of it, and asked, I understand the value of it, but why was Hayashi on possession of this, and why did you need it so fast? Hayashi was to guard this because of me. Think for a moment. I was able to bypass all the security in the tower and get the most guarded documents, those being Namake's Minato scrolls and the village blueprints. Of course they still have no proof since I only copied the blueprints. We must be prepared for Root and that cripple little shit of Danza. He paused for a moment before continuing, seeing this Sarutobi knew that I can not only gain access to the tower, but to destroy this little seal, so who better than the famous all-seeing clan to protect it? After all, they don't have the necessary knowledge to destroy the seal and read it. It just happened that in this case he couldn't predict that I have people in that clan too. Now as for the information I need, that's to see if my suspicions are true. Seeing that this was as much as she would get, she decided to ask him about her last issue. Have you thought about what I asked you? At this, Naruto looked seriously at her. Niji, she nodded. I have tried to find his goals, and while he could accept, he is too much surrounded by darkness. He can only see his hate for the main branch and fate. So no, I am sorry Hinata, but he is too dangerous and too much of a wild card to include him in the plan, and I have no intention of letting someone like him in a position that he could use to his advantage. I'll kill him myself before that happens. I see, she said sadly. Anyway, if you find some way to help him, please do it, for me, she added. Naruto seeing this nodded, making her smile. After all, she had been useful to him, and he would be gaining another clan. It's better that you go back. Ami must be tired of holding back Kurenai at this. Hinata grimaced. I'll go in a while. And by the way, how are your nature manipulations exercises? At this Hinata squeaked and started running in direction to the house. Naruto simply chuckled. She was good with chakra manipulation, but when it comes to nature manipulation she sucked, and the fact that she was water-natured. She felt ashamed that she couldn't make Naruto, her teacher, proud, even if Naruto told her that he was proud of her already. Those fools, Naruto thought while they were jumping in direction to Konoha. It turned out that they ended naming the bridge after him. In the end he paid Tizuna to build a few bridges in spring, snow, country while the others were not looking. He guessed that the fact that he gave him a job made him reconsider about him. Of course he made him keep it in secret, but it was still funny see the other's face. It was coming closer and closer the time for him and his followers to leave the village. The fact that Sandaime and his people were concentrating in him was all the better. After all, even if he didn't tell Hinata, this was an important part of his plan. He also needed to take care of his allies and his little escape. He already helped Orochimaru and his little cursed seal, even if the idiot should have known to not trust him. As for Suna, the moment he knew about it he reached out for the most powerful shinobi there. It turned out to be a fellow Jinchuriki, Sabaka no Gara. It took him a good-sized water technique and a few injutsu to subdue him, but in the end, the kid would go with his plan, especially after a little talk with swearing about friendship and a lot of shit about protecting. He was not especially interested at the moment. All in all, if everything went according to the plan he was going to enjoy this. The only thing he was not amused by was the Hokage book. He found about his family, and he was in no way amused. Until now he had only felt indifference, and a bit of hate for Konoha. Now though, after reading that notebook, he was going to make sure to crush it, especially the Hokage and his stupid Sanins. They were going to learn that nobody messed with the Uzumaki clan, and nobody messed with the Wind Sage. It had taken them a week of travel filled with fangirls, Sakura and Ino, screams, loud-mouthed idiots, Kiba, and hate-filled glares, Sasuke, Haku and Naruto, but in the end, everyone was happy to arrive at the gates, even if their motives differed. 2 days later Naruto, now a full Jounin, was with the Hokage and the Jounin sensei, seeing who was going to present his team. I Mato Guy, present my teams for the Chunin exam. I Yuhi Kurenai, present my team for the Chunin exam. I Sarutobi Asuma, present my team for the Chunin exam. I Uzumaki Naruto, deny my student application to enter the Chunin exam. At this the others, including Irika who was protesting about rookies entering the exam, looked at him. It was a known fact that Ami was very advanced, so it was weird that he didn't present her. The Hokage looked at him with narrowed eyes, but it was Kakashi who spoke. Naruto, how I am supposed to present my team without a third member? Then you should have taken a third student, instead of counting on the fact that my apprentice was going to participate. At this the Hokage interrupted. But Naruto, why don't you let her? After all, I heard that she is already doing nature manipulation. That should make her more than qualified for it. At the mention of the nature manipulation, every Jounin's eyes went wide, except those that already knew. Naruto though had to restrain himself from just attacking the old fool. Because I plan to present her for the Jounin exams in a year or two. I think she will be more than ready. Of course they didn't need to know that she would be a Jounin of another village. The others in the room were surprised and a little angry about a rookie genin make Jounin in so little time, but they stayed quiet. They knew of Naruto's reputation. The Hokage decided to keep it low. After all, he didn't want to alert Naruto about his suspicions. Very well, seeing this little change, Kakashi, I'll send you a new teammate. I trust that with your teamwork training you can make him an acceptable shinobi. At this Kakashi nodded, obviously proud, while Naruto refrained from snorting. Everything was ready. The third part of the exams had just started and he was on his way to meet Kabuto. He was going to get his payment for helping Orochimaru create a stronger version of the cursed seal and with the Edo Tensei, so he could revive the Yondaime from the Shinigami stomach. Of course, in the same way that he placed some little things on his works, he expected Orochimaru to betray him, so it was no surprise when Kabuto was with just Taiya. Ah, Naruto-kun, it's good to see you, he said with his usual sickly smirk. Where is Karen? He could see that Taiya was surprised. She should be, after all it was her sister. Ah, you see, Naruto-kun, Orochimaru-sama found about a few modifications to his seals for the Edo Tensei, so he thought that you have outlived your usefulness. You're just too dangerous with that. Kabuto sadly charged at him, leaving a bewildered Taiya behind and a pleased Naruto. Kabuto was fast, but he was no faster than Zabuza or Raiga, so it was no surprise when a fist impacted with Kabuto's face and made him crash in the opposite wall. A moment later Naruto spat blood. Looking down he realized that Kabuto had hurt him with chakra. He looked up to see Kabuto smirking. Not bad, Naruto, but it won't be enough to beat me, and with this technique, there's nothing you can bluaff. Kabuto found himself spitting blood too. He looked at Naruto with a scared look, which was by now looking at him completely recuperated. Kabuto cursed himself. He should have known. After all, Naruto's bloodline was more potent than his. What he didn't know was why his wound wasn't healing and why every time he tried to use chakra, it hurts so much. Seeing his questioning glance, Naruto decided to answer. What you're feeling is the result of chakra poisoning. The moment that you touched me with your scalpel, you were infested. Goodbye, Kabuto. I'll see you in hell. Since there's where we'll probably meet again. With that, Naruto activated the first jutsu he learned, the chakra no Mezu, chakra scalpel, and ended Kabuto's life. He found extremely ironic that the medic Nin would die by his own technique. He should have known to not underestimate an S-ranked shinobi. He guessed that Kabuto saw him as the little kid he told about his mother, and who he teaches his technique. Turning to Taiyuya, he just gave her orders. Taiyuya, find Karen and go with the others. In a normal situation Taiyuya would have cursed, but Naruto was the one who saved her and her sister from being raped with the supervision of Kabuto. That and the fact that she was sure that he would kill her if she didn't follow his orders now. She knew that she was from Whirlpool since long ago. She was 4 years old with a baby Karen on her arms when Orochimaru found both of them. At the beginning she was happy for finding a new home. That dream went crashing the moment she started working in the village. It was only her natural family abilities that saved her and her sister. Her happiness came much later in the form of a little blonde kid who said he was going to rebuild her former village. She didn't take him seriously, either Orochimaru nor anyone in Oto. It was after he beat the Sound Five within an inch of their lives that they took him seriously, while Orochimaru merely found him amusing. That day, he accepted to work for Orochimaru in exchange of her and Karen. Of course she was pissed, unlike her sister who was a natural fangirl, but as time passed she started respecting more and more the blonde. It was when he took away her curse seal when she finally pledged herself and her sister to him. So when he ordered to look for her sister, she did it without complaint. He was now her Yuzukage and she was the head of her clan, the ancient Obo clan, whose members Obo, Sense, Taiyuya and Obo Karen gave their loyalty. After Taiyuya left he turned to Kabuto. He should have known that it would come to this. The fool had been sentimental enough to come himself instead of sending one of those zombies. Even if they were enemies, Kabuto had been the only one to treat him with something akin to love. He never lied to him. Since the beginning he made clear who he was and Naruto accepted him. Yes, while enemies, he would give Kabuto a good funeral, is the least he can do for someone who helped him so much. He would make Orochimaru pay for this. Danzo and his root shinobi were running after Uzumaki and what was left of the Kurama clan. An hour ago Uzumaki Naruto had come into the council chambers and had killed council member Hamura and council member Koharu, and had managed to cut his only left arm before his personal guards managed to destroy him, just to find out that the brat was a Kage Bunshin. Now though, he was going to make sure that brat died. His former sensei, Uchiha Madara, wanted information about the Kyuubi. He never specified that the brat had to live. He was even more pissed, because this was all Sarutobi's fault. Others may not know, but he knew that Sarutobi Hiruzen was as ruthless as he was. He was sure that the old fool wanted the kid as a weapon as him. In the end, the stupid fool failed. The blasted brat was able to do what no other Jinchuriki before him was able to do, free himself of his burden. That only represented another failure to Danzo. He cheered a little after seeing the kid's abilities and his willingness to kill. The hope of one day recruiting the child was still there. That went crashing when he started to monitor his movements. The child was acting very suspicious and it was impossible to track him. Every time they thought that they got him, it turned out to be a clone. But this time he was going to kill that brat. He was going personally to see how that child died. He was there just because he wanted to see how the life leaves his eyes. The same would be said for that traitorous Kurama clan. He planned to recruit them, but in the end he decided against it. Yes, he was going to kill Uzumaki Naruto with help from his best soldiers and end the Namikaze line for good. Naruto and his followers were running from Danzo and his little squad. They were almost there. Only a little more and he would have them where he wanted. They had been running through the sewers, residents of Danzo little A and B unit. The plan was easy enough. Kill those council members and hurt Danzo as much as possible. Then start running through Danzo's headquarters and finally leading him to a very special place. It was a dead-end cave that he prepared. Speaking of which, halt, he signaled to the Kurama clan, and a few minutes later, appeared Danzo and his little mindless soldiers. So you give up? Good, now you can tell me what exactly you did with Kyuubi and what were your plans, Danzo barked. It seemed to Naruto that the old cripple didn't realize that he was not in command. Idiotic little shit. Do you think me so stupid to just run with the clan as a plan? You should be more worried about yourself, or haven't you noticed yet? Danzo frowned, but a moment later he realized his predicament. He couldn't move, except for his head. Immediately he looked to see his Anbu trying to move, but they were not having such luck. It's useless. Look at the floor. At this, Danzo and his men looked at the floor to find it full of seals that converged in them. Looking up he answered, then you're an idiot, you're trapped too, and when others find about this, they won't, you see, they will only find you and your little group of traitors. A voice sounded from the cave's exit. Danzo saw another Naruto there. You see, those you were following were not the real one. They are nothing but Mizubunshin of me. Using henge to look like the Kurama clan. As soon as he told that, every member of the clan, along with the other Naruto, turned to water. As you can see, only you and your little soldiers are trapped. As a farewell gift, let me introduce you to a few friends of Anko-chan. The moment he said that, in the cave entered creatures that looked like tigers. The problem was that they were 10 times the size of a normal one. Oh yes, I forgot. After they finish eating all of you alive, this cave is programmed to explode in 7 hours, destroying the Kage Tower with it. That should be enough for Konoha to remember all of you as the worst scum to be born. Enjoy. With that, Naruto turned around while leaving Danzo's face contorted in horror. He was less than a few feet when he started hearing the agony-filled screams from Danzo. He thought that it was a fitting end for the bastard cripple, first outclassing him in strategy, then destroying his reputation when his body is found, and last giving him one of the worst deaths that exist. Those tigers' saliva had the property to keep the victim alive, until the animal stopped eating it. If the tiger was killed, then the victim died too. But he was happy to give such a death to the former ANBU commander. The real Naruto that was in the Kage booth let a smirk grace his face. All was going according to his plans. He could see Orochimaru narrowing his eyes at him. Tsunade was not happy either, but he was Sarutobi guard. It seemed that the old man didn't want to let him out of his sight. If he only knew, now though he was seeing the Uchiha fight. His last bunshins were to disperse the moment the invasion started. He was surprised with the Uchiha. It seemed that his speed has improved. A moment later he realized that like always the Uchiha used his Sharingan, even if he had been warned. After trying to copy Ami's techniques, the lil shit has copied it from Lee. This time with Itachi's help. Was that? Yes, it was, the famous Chidori. He was now happier than ever to leave a bioseal in Hitachi's Sharingan eye. It was very simple. The information recorded by the copying would be sent directly to a special scroll in his possession, signaling to his clones. A moment later the stadium started filling with feathers. Faster than many could follow, the Kazekage charged at Sandaime, and jumped with him to the roof. Tsunade, who was moving already to intercept him, received a thunderous kick to the face that throwed her in the direction of Orochimaru and Sarutobi. Immediately, the Sound 4, now with a slightly recovered Kimimaro, jumped in the fight, taking care of the other guards that went to the roof, where they created the Fuinjutsu that would trap the old man, Tsunade and the snake. Jumping in the roof he found a scene that disturbed him, and at the same time amused him. In one side was the old man in a black battle suit, which told him that he was right about the former Kage suspecting something, and Tsunade without the Kage robes. In the other stood Orochimaru with 3 coffins with the kanji for 1, 2 and 4 respectively, and 2 other with the leaf symbol on them. He turned in time to dodge a fist. He knew who it belonged to, no other than Jiraiya, and he didn't look happy. I never thought that a son of Minato and my godson at that would do this. His voice was hard, he noted, but he was beyond caring. Then it is a good thing that I don't consider myself the son of a coward. Jiraiya was seething now. Besides, you have some balls judging me, fucking hypocrites. Did you thought that I wouldn't find about it? At this, a poof of smoke later, beside Naruto was a giant white scroll with a multicolored kanji which said Bija. Jiraiya paled. The scroll, he said softly, and when he looked at his godson eyes he knew that there would be no mercy. The others have stopped to see what was happening. Sarutobi was looking like he was going to get a heart attack. Tsunade was speechless, and Orochimaru looked interested, even if he was feeling weird after making the Edo Tensei. The ANBU who were stationed beside the barrier jumped at Jiraiya's side. Yes, the scroll. You and this entire village will pay for killing my mother, dear godfather, he spat. All hell broke loose. The killing intent and the chakra pressure were amazing. The ANBU were rooted to their place. They could accept those feelings from the famous Sanins and their former Kage. But to feel it from a 13-year-old kid was just mind-blowing, and the fact that the kid's chakra was on par if not higher than those other legendary shinobis was just plain terrifying. Naruto, ignoring Yandaime's puppet presence, saw with satisfaction how the 2 last coffins with the leaf symbol crumbled, much to Orochimaru's horror. That made Orochimaru snaps out of his awe and slight fear of Naruto. What? What's the meaning of this? He hissed, looking murderous. What the hell happened to those 2? He was interrupted by another wave of killer intent. This time though everyone could see, even the resurrected Kage's twitch. Did you really though that I would let a weakling and a pathetic excuse for a human being like you use my mother and sister as your killer toys? Naruto spat. I gave them the proper burial and place of rest in my compound in my real home. You'll find that as retribution I made a few changes in your technique. Instead of looking at the white seals plain visible in those tags that I modified, you should have looked for the very tag this time. He gave a nasty smirk that told everyone that the result were not going to be pretty. What the hell did you do, you cursed brat? Orochimaru's face had turned even paler. Oh, I merely took advantage of the fact that those tags are black, so the ink wouldn't be noted. I made the technique so your summons will take you back with them when the jutsu ends. You're now linked to them by your very soul. Enjoy it, you piece of sick shit. I have no doubt that you and that filthy piece of shit of my father will have a good time. Ha 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 ha. Everyone could only see him laughing like a maniac. Naruto didn't care. So many years of planning were giving their fruits. He let Orochimaru to deal with the Kages. While the resurrected people were not as strong as they were in life, they should be a challenge. But with Sandaime and Tsunade teaming, it shouldn't take them that long. But they will still be jailed in the Fuinjutsu. Speaking of which, oh by the way, Tsunade said person looked at Naruto with hate. Shizen found out her heritage. She is not very happy with you. Her expression turned to shock, then to hurt. Feeling satisfied for now, he turned in time to dodge a fist from Jiraiya. He answered with a fist to the face that was blocked by Jiraiya. Naruto needed to hit him in the skin for his technique to work, so when Jiraiya attacked again, he let him hit him in the stomach, which made him wheeze because of the pain. Damn, that fucking hurt. He was really stupid to think he could take one of those punch like it was nothing, but he could see Jiraiya's face twisted in hatred, just perfect. A fist to the face sends the toad Sandaime crashing. Seeing that he wasn't getting up, Naruto stood in alert. He felt a slight shift in the wind and turned to find Jiraiya coming out of his own shadow, much to his astonishment. That awe turned to amusement. This was perfect. His fist connected with Jiraiya's nude chest. but he took a fire blast that made him crash in a tower close by. Naruto got up in pain. That technique took him by surprise, but it wouldn't be enough. He was really thankful for his bloodline that was regenerating him. Getting up completely healed, he turned to see with a smirk how Jiraiya spitted blood and had difficult time breathing. Naruto, please stop this. You know this is wrong. Your parents wouldn't like this. Naruto turned to the Sandaime. It seemed that they were almost finished. Save it, old man. The time for words is finished. Besides, who are you to tell me anything? Naruto hissed, remembering him of the scroll. How did you find that scroll? This time his voice was cold. The voice of the so-called god of shinobi. It seemed that he too was done with the theatrics. It doesn't matter. What it does is that you had the opportunity to free me from Kyuubi with the summoning contract for the bijous made by Shodaime, and you didn't. I don't know what you're playing at, Sarutobi, but you'll pay for this sooner or later. Naruto's speech was cut short by a fist courtesy of Jiraiya. This time it hurt even more than before, he noted while he crashed with the same tower, this time destroying it completely. When he turned to his opponent confused about why his chakra poison failed, he found another amazing sight. Jiraiya's face resembled now that of a toad along with his hands and legs. On each of his shoulder was a little old toad. If he wasn't wrong, this was the secret art of the toads. It was a known fact that each summoning contract had specialties and that sometimes they teach it to their summoners. He was going to kill those stupid birds of his. He wasn't confident that he could take on him right now. But seeing him spat blood remembered Naruto of his poison. Jiraiya was not happy. In fact, he was downright pissed, and most of all he was fucking scared. He knew that Naruto was strong, but this was just too much. What would be next? A few months old baby taking on Kyuubi. Oh right, that actually happened. Anyway, he had been fighting lightly just to test him, and when he was getting serious a hit had been enough for Naruto to poison him somehow. When he tried to find the wound he discovered that it was chakra poisoning, and every time he tried molding chakra was painful. He had hoped for him to be down with his fire technique, but a moment later he saw the boy's bloodline in action. The fucking kid was completely healed, nothing, not even a little mark. It was infuriating for a shinobi like him. And last, how the hell was he fighting so well? It was as if he had even more experience than him or Sarutobi, but that was impossible, right? He took advantage of the distraction provided by Sarutobi to use his Sage mode and hopefully get rid of the poison and defeat Naruto. But the poison still caused pain, although lessened, meaning it was still there. He saw the clan heads going in his direction and smiled. Turning to Naruto, he smirked viciously. It's over, Naruto. It's better for you to surrender now. You won't be able to defeat me, even less both me and the clan heads. He was alerted when Naruto merely smirked back. Naruto was amused and kind of happy. He couldn't wait to see their faces when he did his technique. Creating 3 mud clones so they can at least take a good hit from Jiraiya, he started his seal sequence. He was strong, but he was not crazy to take on all these people. He needed help. He heard Sandaime screaming for Jiraiya to stop him, or at least his next technique. At the other side he saw the famous Ino Shikacho trio along with some with the lack of one Hyuga Hayashi. He smirked at that. It seemed that Hinata took care of it. All in all, they weren't able to stop him. Not that they could in the first place. He had thought of summoning some free bijou, but in the end he went for someone better. It would serve right for these weaklings, and someone summoned by this technique always ended in the stomach of the Shinigami. Kuchio Seto Tensei, come forth, Salamander Hanzo. Every shinobi close by paled at that. The fucking kid was summoning the freaking former Ain Kage. Everyone knew that man was a freaking monster. Inside the sealed area, even Orochimaru had stopped, and now looking at the rising coffin with awe and just pure lust, wanting the powerful shinobi at his service. Moments later though, it clicked in his mind that if Naruto had the body of Hanzo shit, it seemed that his distraction moment was enough for his former sensei to get close to him with an immense Raikiri. Yes, Sarutobi knows every technique except Hiraishin. Sarutobi Hiruzen had lived better days. It seemed that this invasion brought everything wrong with his village on top of them. If Orochimaru had not been enough, his suspicions of Naruto had not only proven correct, he also seemed to know each movement they made, and what was worse, he knew the truth of his family. He should have known that everything would go wrong the moment Minato died. The plan had been simple. The moment they heard of the Kyuubi approaching Konoha, they all saw the opportunity to create their own weapon. They knew that every hidden village had at least a bijou. Kumo had 2, the same with Iwa and Kiri. Suna had always possessed a chibi. Hell, even Taki had 1. So it was only logical that Konoha, that was the strongest of the hidden villages, had the strongest of them, the very Kyuubi no Kitsune. And the fact that it was coming to them was a sign of the gods themselves. They needed a Jinchuriki. Despite winning the last war and having Minato, they still had daring enemies that thought of Jinchurikis as the best shinobis and weapons, so they decided to take the chance. Minato proposed to use his soon-to-born child to seal it. After all, if they feared the father, then a son of that man and a Jinchuriki at that would terrify them. The first mistake came that day when Kushina found what they were trying to do. Sarutobi was ashamed to say it, but at Yandaime's request he found no choice but to kill her. It ashamed him even more that Naruto's twin sister was killed by a stray kunai in the fight. Such a cute child with her red-orange hair and big cute green eyes, it was really a shame. Then came the sealing. The idea was to seal Kyuubi's power in Naruto and give the fox's soul as payment instead of Minato to the Shinigami. The problem was that the fox wasn't about to go down without a fight and Minato resulted dead. While sad that the young Kage died, Jiraiya and he continued their plans to try and create a good weapon, so while they let Naruto have a hard life, he continued to teach him love and forgiveness for the village, and Jiraiya was to train him when the time came. But all went down to shit. Naruto was strong and a genius, had no love for the village, instead he hated the place, and what was worse, he got rid of Kyuubi somehow and found about his family. He had thought that all that would make him appreciated and finally make him stop his hate for the village. Basically another yandere was better than a useless Jinchuriki. Well, this sure as hell didn't happen. Now though it saddened him seeing the souls of his senseis, and now Minato being sent to the Shinigami. He could only hear sad how Minato told him a few murmured words and instead of him in his place appeared the dead body of an oh! Everyone heard the agony-filled scream of the former Sandaime Hokage and turned to find him looking with tears at the body of his own son Sarutobi Asuma, his last living son. Everyone looked at the body in horror. Naruto though only smirked and said, "What's the problem, old man? Not so good for the village when it's your own blood and family that is taken. I told you that I would have my revenge. Oh, and just so you know, what that motherfucker of Minato told you is that besides the suffering of the Shinigami stomach, there is also the Kyuubi waiting for you." Exactly, I see for your face that you understand now where, and why I send him there. I knew that you would use this technique as a last option. That way I could guarantee the suffering for both you and that filthy excuse of a human being of Namake's Minato. He ended laughing like a lunatic as everyone looking between him and the late Sandaime beside the body of Sarutobi Asuma and the soulless one of Orochimaru. Everyone was furious. The first to attack were the clan heads. Naruto only smirked at them, which only put Jiraiya in alert, and while he evaded the powerful attacks of Hanzo he screamed, "No, don't go close to him, you idiots." It was too late. A giant puff of smoke surrounding Naruto alerted of the arrival of a summon. When the smoke cleared, an intense and powerful killing intent covered the entire place. Their battle and the arrival of the summon had made them take the battle in the destroyed chunin exam and a good part of the village. Naruto could see Kakashi trying to help Jiraiya fight against Hanzo. He smirked because not only the fool was copying techniques that would be useful to him when he used the salamander contract, but by tomorrow he will find his Sharingan useless because of a poison he left in it, and due to the nature of the eye, he will forget the techniques, or at least a lot of them, since not all of them were mastered. Turning to his fight, he saw that the smoke was clearing. Every fight close stopped again when they saw the summon. It was a Cerberus, but the weird thing was his eyes. Jiraiya stopped for a moment paralyzed and could only whisper, "Rinnegan how?" His distraction cost him, because Marionette Hanzo managed to cut his arm with a fire sword. His scream made Guy go to his aid, and it seemed that with him they kind of managed to hold their own. A shame that this puppet wasn't as strong as the original. Idiotic fools, Naruto thought as he eyed the famous clan heads fighting the Cerberus. It was amusing. So much fame, yet Naruto thought that they were low jounin at most. It was pathetic. He will have to make sure that his generals and other representative heads are strong enough to wipe the floor with these people, even if some were civilians. A moment later he jumped out of the way of thousands of ice needles. Again he smirked. It seemed that luck was with him. There in front of him was that ice girl, and behind her stood one pissed of Kurenai. "Oh my, look at that, two scorned womans. It seems that I am in trouble," he drawled with a mocking tone that only made them even more pissed. "You will pay for what you did to both of us." "The ice girl Haku, was it?" answered. "I can't believe that you would do such a thing, Naruto. But I'll never forgive you for this," spat Kurenai with tears in her face. Naruto merely eyed her bored. How would I ever live with myself? Sarcasm was really an art, and sometimes just too easy. That was enough for them to attack. While a B-ranked, A at most by themselves, together they thought that they could take on a S-ranked one. Even better if they had no much experience like Naruto, or at least they thought that. Immediately Naruto was surrounded by hundreds of ice mirrors. He noted amused that she had become stronger, and the number of mirrors had increased a lot. He also noted that his surrounding had changed to match a frozen land even if he could see through it easily. After all, he was immune to genjutsu. He sighed. He really expected better. It seemed that he would have to finish this quickly. His chakra was getting low. Looking at the fast-approaching Haku, he let her hit him. Haku, using her increased speed in her bloodline, attacked Naruto. It seemed that he had no intention of moving. Good for her. She was surprised, or more like just plain confused and scared when she actually went through him. She was about to attack again, when she found a wind chakra scalpel going in her direction. Time seemed to slow as it approached. She saw the ice-blue eyes of her killer, and she kinda found it ironic. Death by ice. Suddenly she felt someone tackling her to the ground and heard the scream of a woman. She turned to find that Kurenai had received a big wound on her shoulder for saving her. Annoying, he was about to kill that stupid girl when the idiotic bitch got in the way. Kicking both of them, he started making hand seals. It seemed that those clan heads managed to send back the summon. Letting the Edo Tensei jutsu fell, he placed his hands on the ground. Kuchio's no jutsu, another giant puff of smoke, had every clan head tense again. Female power! Naruto and everyone else present's sweat dropped while Haku and Kurenai almost cheered for the gigantic owl. Hikijo, enough. His voice had a sharp edge. We have to go for Shizu and Swearin. Fine. But when this is over, you'll be having that lady signing my contract, or at least proposing brat. While they ascended, Naruto turned one last time to the Konoha shinobis. Make no mistakes, I will destroy this village. You can consider this as a temporal rest. I will come back and then, the leaf will be crushed under my power. You'll wish you were destroyed by Kyuubi. None of you will survive. I'll create a hell of this place. With that, Naruto flew away in direction to Shizen and Swearin. He concluded that their mission was probably finished. His ambition of destroying Konoha will have to wait. The village could be still useful to him and his plans. With Shizen and Seirin. Why Shizen-san? Surely you see that this is just madness full of cuts and wounds. Yamato, or Tenza, backed away from Shizen. He knew that there will always be a chance of this happening. Madness? I see this as justice for what you, along with Tsunade and Sarutobi, did to me. Goodbye Tenzu. May you burn in hell. What followed were a good 15 minutes of screaming. In the end there was only Shizen beside what was left of Yamato. Shizen-sama, it seems that Naruto-sama is coming for us, Swearin informed. A moment later a huge owl with Naruto on his head appeared before both of them. I trust that you girls took care of that fool? Asked Naruto. Yes, Naruto-sama. Shizen-sama took care of him. Herself turning to Shizen, he found her with her back turned to him. His eyes softened. Taking her on his arms he started speaking. Shizu-chan, it doesn't matter to me what you look like now. I love you. What they did to you and your heritage doesn't matter to me as long as I have you. Besides, remember that my chakra will make it so our descendant have your bloodline activated since birth. He chuckled when she saw her blush at the thought of having descendants. Having a family is something both were looking forward. I think it will be better if I get accustomed to your own beautiful shade, don't you think? Turning his girlfriend around he gazed in twin big blue eyes with concentric circles in them, the Rinnegan. Unlike the original, her eyes were modified to make them more powerful. Naruto simply smiled and kissed her with as much love as he could. That's it, that just counted as a proposal to me. Now hand her the owl contract, you annoying brat. It's time. The power of females is noted again, Yash. The rest of the trip everyone could hear Naruto muttering about things that sounded suspiciously like kill that useless owl or female power my asses. He really needed to find a way for salamanders to fly. These fucking owls are just tiring and they did nothing but help his addiction and need for killing rise. A day later, in Konoha everyone was mourning except Tsunade and her advisors that were assessing the damage. Very well, now that we're all here let's start. According to this, the damage to the village will cost us all the money from the village account and a bit from the fire daimyo. We lost not only the Kurama clan, but the Uchiha too. It seems that the curse seal on Sasuke was directly connected to Orochimaru's soul. The shock provoked by Orochimaru's death made him fall in a coma. Last night a spy we didn't recognize kidnapped him. According to A&B, the spy had white hair and 2 red dots on his forehead. Also it seems that Kakashi's Sharingan is now useless, and according to Kakashi here present, he cannot recall many techniques, merely the ones he mastered by himself. At this everyone looked at Kakashi that looked depressed. We also lost one Sarutobi Asuma and our late Sandame along with half the population of shinobis. And what is more important, the branch side of the Hyuga except for Hyuga Niji along with Hyuga Hinata and her sister. It seems that they killed Hyuga Hayashi. Some people managed to see that helping her were Mitarashi Enko, Mitarashi Ami, Ichiraka Tuchi and Ayam, Guy's former student Tenten, a green-haired girl that we found in the bingo book called Swearin, and last she ended with a hollow voice, my former student Fumish Shizen. At this, Jiraiya, who was looking at where his arm used to be, looked up with wide eyes at her. Does that mean she was the one? Tsunade nodded. Kakashi and the 2 advisors looked at her silently, asking for an explanation. Allow me to explain. Years ago with War with Aim, my former fiancé adopted a little baby which he named Shizen. It turned out after I made a few blood analyses that she was from the Fuma clan, the inheritors according to Jiraiya, who trained one of the Rinnegan, the 3rd great Dijutsu. Tsunade saw the others paling when the Kyuubi attacked. Her eyes surprisingly activated. In that moment Sarutobi and I decided to experiment to try and make the bloodline stronger with Yamato's chakra of the Shodai. That way we could train a powerful shinobi and a new bloodline. And we can also use her to control the Kyuubi's chakra just in case Naruto went rogue. The experiment was a success. But as you understand, we had to erase her memories of the operation. So we placed the seal on her head. Here she stopped to take a little breath and continued. We can say that the seal reacted badly with her bloodline and ended deactivating, so to speak. The new Rinnegan Jiraiya couldn't contain himself. What the hell were you thinking? Now thanks to that we not only have an overly strong psycho after us, but we have someone with an even godlier Rinnegan than the original and unlimited potential. Tsunade merely sighed tiredly. In any other moment she would have hit him, but she was too tired. She now had a village to reconstruct and a new apprentice to teach. After a moment something clicked in her mind. Jiraiya, how the hell was Naruto able to keep up with you, or Kakashi that time ago? At this Kakashi looked attentive since he had been meaning to understand that too, the same for the other 2 advisors. Jiraiya looked thoughtful for a moment, but he answered anyway. Sensei and I had been asking that for some time. Think about it, he fought Aoi, who while not very strong was still a jounin. He fought Kakashi who was elite, and he fought and killed 2 of the former 7 swordsmen. And finally he was able to keep up with me and was almost successful in killing me with that poison, which Ma had to sacrifice herself taking the poison in her body so I could survive. To be able to do that you need a lot of experience, so Sensei had the theory that Naruto. So you actually took Kyuubi's battle memories? Asked a wide-eyed and full of awe Shizen. Naruto, who had her in his arms, merely kissed the top of her head and answered, of course, When I started training, I reached the conclusion that there was only something that I would always lack compared to other shinobis: experience. You can overpower a more experienced shinobi with power or skill, but I wanted to go for the sure. I couldn't let my lack of experience to get in the way of my plans and power, so I took the fox. The idiotic beast was so happy with freedom that he forgot that while a demon is bound by his promise, a human is not. So I simply took what I needed from him, and then got rid of him. He ended shrugging. Naruto-sensei? Asked Swearin, what have you done with Nagi and Ozu Islands? Swearin, who was right now without a bijou thanks to Naruto, was curious about what he did. Both islands were now gone along with half of their village constructors and Naruto's compound. Naruto merely smirked and answered with a question. Tell me, Swearin, what is my speciality, and what speciality is our new resident clan bijou or former Jinchuriki bijou? Confused, she thought of Naruto. His speciality was clearly seals, if what he did with them in their new village was to go by. As for their new clan, the clan was not so new, it was actually another of Whirlpool former great clans, the Suiho clan, Bubble. Their speciality was bubble jutsus, which were quite popular with the kids. That could sound stupid, but the versatility of the bubbles was amazing. The clan itself was a relative of the Nara, all of them genius and with black hair and eyes. The difference was that they, unlike their cousins, were kind of hyperactive and looked always happy. All of them, except for their former Jinchuriki, who due to the presence of his bijou was as lazy as their cousins. The bubbles were deadly. Some could use it like the Suiro no Jutsu, but long range, others used them as explosive and etc., etc., etc. Wait, does that means what I think it means? Naruto smiled and decided to give one of his students a little more information for once. Listen well, Swearin, and be sure to remember, but tell no one. The village you saw yesterday in the center of the lake was merely a fake one, which we'll use to commerce and to take missions. The real village is underneath the water. As you can remember, the giant seal I placed on the floor of the village, besides being connected to our citizens as a security seals and make it so nobody can enter if they don't have a seal on their arm, it also have many other uses. First, it creates energy for both villages, fake and real alike, transforming cold wind to electricity. Also, it purifies the air and allows for the sun rays and that air to reach us underwater. Finally, it is connected to the one on our real village formed by those two islands. This one constantly increases the strength of the bubble by using the power of water and generating the powerful whirlpools surrounding our villages and the already powerful Bijou chakra protecting it. I think that for now taking those islands from those idiotic traitorous feudal lords will be enough revenge, don't you think? He ended smirking. Of course I still have to pay them a visit. Both Shizen and Swearin looked at him in awe. The level required to make that was amazing, and they both knew that Naruto always have something else hidden, which tended to be a lot and deadly. Suddenly both girls noticed Naruto tense. A bit worried, Shizen asked first. Naruto-kun, what's the matter? Why did you tense? Giving her a kiss, he answered. Nothing, it seems that someone is trying to follow us. I'll deal with them and catch up with you, Hikijo. Fly higher and take them both to the village. Not giving Shizen or Swearin time to answer, he jumped from Hikijo. There he is, a dark figure thought while flying a bit behind the giant owl. Even if barely, the little pest won't know what hit. His thoughts were cut short when a foot connected with his face, followed by 4 set of arms holding him and taking him down to earth with them. The 5 figures crashed in front of a surprised Sasori. A moment later he saw how a blonde-haired teenager flew down on top of his partner bird. Interesting, how did you manage to control a high explosive like that? Deidara won't be happy when he comes out of that hole, said Sasori. Hell yeah, I am not. I don't care what Leader-sama said, I am going to beat the shit out of you for that hit, you fucking kid. Naruto though was leaking killer intent while eyeing Deidara and ignoring Sasori. I am afraid that you won't be able to beat no one, because you'll be death. He ended with a crazy smirk. You're just unlucky to be in IWA mean trash. Besides, you and your Akatsuki little friends don't know when to give up, so I'll just have to kill you all one by one.